overnight oats right before the game. My teammates look at me like, what are you doing, dude?
My mom's cooking, probably. She makes some good. She's got a tuna fish casserole. That's pretty good.
Okay, I went 5 for 5. I need to eat the same thing. Last time, Saturday, I ate arepa with eggs. And then next day, I got to eat arepa with eggs. So my mom make it for me. And then when my mom is with me,
everything's good.
I save a lot of money.
Estamos leyendo.
Marquee Sports Network is brought to you by Circa Sports, by Advocate Healthcare. Let's live well and make the most of every moment, game day, and every day. And by your local Hyundai dealer. Find the dealer nearest you.
Parents and Shane Smith, who has pitched exceptionally well for the White Sox, will start for them. Smith is 1-2 with a 2.08 ERA so far. Let's go ahead and get right to the starting lineups for today's game. The lineups are sponsored by Verizon, the most reliable 5G in Chicago. Leading off for the visitors from the south side, Chase Meidroth. At shortstop, Meidroth. Matt Thaiss catching. Luis Robert Jr. in center. The cleanup batter is their third baseman, Miguel Vargas. Joshua Palacios batting fifth. Palacios plays right field for the White Sox. Andrew Vaughn at first. Edgar Caro is the DH. Caro batting seventh. Josh Rojas at second base. And batting ninth, the Sox left fielder Brooks Baldwin. So those are the White Sox. Here are the Cubs. Huge crowd at Wrigley today. Pete Crow Armstrong leading off in center. Kyle Tucker in right. Seiya Suzuki batting third and playing left field. Michael Busch is the Cubs cleanup batter. Busch will play first base. Carson Kelly catching. Dansby Swanson batting sixth. Swanson playing shortstop. Moises Ballesteros is the designated hitter. Batting eighth and playing second base, Nico Horner. And John Birdie batting ninth and playing third base. We are ready to go. Always fun. The Crosstown Classic. Game one of the season series right around the corner. The Cubs and the White Sox. Right after this, you are listening to The Score and the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Hey Cubs fans, it's Ian Happ. Listen to every game here on the Chicago Cubs Radio Network.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See dealer for full details and disclaimers.
FinishingChicago.com for the industry's best drywall finishing, wall covering, glass systems, signage, and painting contractors. Rely on FinishingChicago.com.
It's game time. Time to crack open a Yuengling. After 196 years, the wait is over. Yuengling is finally available here in Illinois. Look for it at your favorite bar or store. Yuengling, the oldest brewery in America. And Patrick, this is always a really fun series. Cubs, Sox, always some great battles. Great historic battles in the past. Might be some good ones here this weekend.
Absolutely, Ron. And when you were a player for the Cubs in 2001, you are from the south side and now playing on the north side. That had to be a special time for you.
It was. It was very entertaining. Not all my family members were rooting for me, but that was okay. I understood.
Chase Meidroth leads off for the White Sox. Cade Horton into his motion. The first pitch of the game. Fastball is outside, and away we go. Cade Horton got the win in relief in his Major League debut against the Mets at Citi Field last Saturday night. Here's the pitch, hit in the air, left center, racing in. Suzuki has to play it on a bounce. It's a leadoff single for Chase Meidroth. And the Sox have a man on, and the batter is Matt Thaiss. Ron, as you think about Cade Horton making his first start in the big leagues today, what comes to mind?
Well, first getting through this first inning and, just experiencing the big leagues as a starter and dealing with all the nerves and the adrenaline rush that he's going to have that he's got going right now.
80 degrees at Wrigley. Matt Theis, the left-handed batting catcher, takes outside for a ball. Game time temperature sponsored by Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Your trusted local experts, Four Seasons. No score, just underway. A man at first. Theis hitting .225. He'll take high for a ball. I noticed an oddity, Ron, in writing down the lineups with the batting averages. Not a single 300 hitter, at least at this point, in either lineup to start today's game. Not one.
And, the Cubs lineup, they have swung the bat pretty well and have hit, but just not a 300 hitter.
Theis hitting .225, takes a strike, 2-1. Cubs have the powder blue Friday afternoon shirts. White trousers. Sox in their traveling unis, black shirts, white numbers on their backs, gray trousers, black hats and helmets. The umpires and the ball players are wearing armed forces hats. They are white hats, and I think that's a nice touch. Getting close to Memorial Day. Here comes the 2-1 pitch on the way to Theis. And he'll hit one in the air to left, down the line, over toward the line. Suzuki with a play, makes the catch. It's a good day to hit, Ron. If watching batting practice was any indication, the ball was jumping out of Wrigley.
Yeah, the wind is blowing hard out to the middle of the diamond. At times it's to straightaway center. Other times it's been kind of pushing the ball or blowing out towards left center field. But it is definitely at 80 degrees a hitter's day here at Wrigley with the wind blowing out at about 15 miles an hour.
Luis Robert Jr. swings and misses. This is your basic power against power matchup. You got a real hard thrower in Cade Horton and a guy with some real power at the plate, Luis Robert Jr. Robert not hitting. His average 186. The stretch by Horton and the pitch. Fastball a little bit low.
Yeah, he's a guy that just has to get healthy. When he's healthy, he's going to hit. Speed Gun today, powered by Xfinity. Get seriously powerful Wi-Fi. Xfinity. The Wi-Fi is booming.
Toss to first, diving back in, Mydroth. Uniform descriptions we gave you, sponsored by Benjamin Moore. On the field or the walls of your home, the right team and colors make all the difference. Official paint of the Chicago Cubs, Benjamin Moore. Big lead, the runner is going. The pitch to Robert is a strike. Throw to second base, the tag. He is going to be out at second base. Perfect throw by Carson Kelly. Right on the bag, Nico Horner covering. And I don't think the White Sox are going to challenge that call, but Will Venable, the manager, still holding up his hand, yet to make a decision. And maybe they will.
Now the umpires are huddling in the middle of the field, and I'm wondering if they're thinking about that being a blocking of the base or what they're considering right now. But they're definitely come to the middle of the field about that play.
This is kind of unusual, Ron.
Yes.
You don't see the umpires all gather around on what appeared to be a routine stolen base attempt.
After consultation, obstruction occurred at second base. The runner is awarded second base. This play is not reviewable.
So interference. And now Craig Counsell says, hold the phone. Wait a minute. Nico Horner charged with illegally blocking the base with his left foot, apparently, Ron, if that's what I'm understanding.
That's exactly right. Nico comes in and steps in and then takes another jab step in and has his foot in front of the base. And Craig Counsell is hot, and he's hot at Brandon Miller, the first base umpire, saying, your call, the guy that's right there at the call didn't call it. The first base umpire did from, 90 plus feet away, and that's something that, you have a hard time when there's somebody standing right over the plate didn't feel like that was the call, but the guy 90 feet away did.
The runner, Mydroth, went in head first, reaching for the bag with his left hand. And he is safe at second with one away. Luis Robert Jr. with a 1-2 count. Here's the pitch. Robert takes low and outside for a ball. Now, Craig Counsell was a middle infielder himself, Ron, and part of his argument probably was, where am I supposed to stand if I'm the second baseman there? I'm retrieving the ball. I'm waiting to put a tag on a runner. Where do you want me to stand?
Well, you've got to give the runner, the base runner, a chance to get to the base is what they're saying.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Robert is out number 2. No score, first inning, a man at second, and here's Vargas. Go ahead, Ron.
Well, you're supposed to be able to give the base runner a chance to get to the base. And this is going to be a discussion, and the problem with this call is literally the first base umpire came over and created this huddle, and you're 90 feet away from a play. I don't understand how that guy can call the play at second base.
Miguel Vargas pops it up foul, and this ball is out of play. I like the hustle of Michael Busch. Now, Michael, in his second year, Ron, has played enough games at Wrigley to know when the wind is blowing out, many times a ball that appears to be out of play will be in play by the time it comes down.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And that ball would have been 20 rows back. Instead, it was 3.
Now the 0-1 pitch on the way to Vargas. Breaking ball missing down low, 1-1. But again, as an infielder, you've got to stand somewhere.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's an obvious statement, but sometimes it's going to be right in front of the base as you're receiving the throw. Here comes the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Now, if a guy would squat down in front of the base and literally block a way to get to the base, that would be something else.
Well, the rule was created because of that. A guy would drop, called, as an infielder, you talked about dropping a knee down in front of the bag, and then the guy can't ever get to the bag.
Now that I understand. The 1-2 pitch fouled away, and the count 1-2.
And what would you do as a base runner if a guy notoriously did that? You'd go in with your spikes and you would blast them, and you would talk about that in the hitters meeting. That you're going in the second, so he drops his leg down and blocks the bag. Well, guess what? You got a chance of getting a broken leg.
Here comes the 1-2 to Vargas outside, 2-2. That had a lot of steam on it. 96-mile-an-hour pitch from Cade Horton. Cade in only his second big league appearance. His first one in New York, he beat the Mets. And now today, the first game of the Crosstown Classic. Welcome to the big leagues. Breaking ball is down low, and the count 3-2.
Yeah, you get the Mets. There you go. And you're facing some of the best hitters in baseball, and then you're going to get 40+ thousand here at Wrigley, and the whole city is watching this ball game today.
It's good. He's getting a full flavor of the big leagues right away. Now the 3-2 pitch on the way to Vargas. Hit in the air to left field and deep. Trouble all the way back, and this is a 2-run home run. Miguel Vargas with a 2-run homer, and the White Sox lead 2-0. I'm going to go way out on a limb and say that is not going to be the only home run in today's game.
Nope, definitely not. With the wind blowing out, that's for sure. The issue for Cade today will be that pitch. It's the breaking ball that he starts out at the right-handed hitter, and it ends up in the middle of the plate. And if the hitter doesn't flinch on that pitch and holds his ground, that's a ball you get the barrel to and you elevate, and that's exactly what happened on that pitch.
Vargas with his 4th of the year. He has 18 runs batted in. And the White Sox lead 2-0. So the interference call against Horner turns out to be a key ruling. The inning would have been over.
Yeah.
Palacios the batter. Joshua Palacios takes low and inside, 1-1. Palacios hitting .206. Huge crowd at Wrigley. No surprise there. Fans are on the rooftops across Waveland and Sheffield Avenues. Bright sunshine, warm, breezy day. Fastball in there for a call, strike 2, 2-2. Horton from Oklahoma attended the University of Oklahoma, where he originally committed to play both baseball and football. He was a quarterback. Now the 2-2 to Palacios. Bouncing ball fair inside third down the left field line, a base hit. Over to pick it up is Suzuki. And the White Sox have 3 hits in the opening inning, and they lead 2-0. It's a single for Palacios, and the batter is Andrew Vaughn.
A little fastball away, about belt high. It's that cutting fastball that Horton throws, starts out off the plate, comes back to the plate. And that's what you're taught to do. And Palacios just shoots this ball past Birdie at third and into left field.
Tommy Hotovy, the pitching coach, out to see about Cade Horton. Cade, by the way, just the second pitcher in Cubs franchise history to make his first career start against the White Sox. The first one was 3 years ago. Scott Efros, who is still in professional ball in the Yankees organization. Thanks to Zach for looking that item up. But Scott Efros started against the White Sox May 3rd, 2002, and that was his first big league starting assignment. Here is Andrew Vaughn. Vaughn, another guy struggling, hitting 189. Right-handed batter, slightly open stance, and he'll hit one foul out of play.
Now the White Sox with quite a few guys hitting, under 200.
White Sox are 14 up and 30 down, but they've played much better of late. They've won 6 of their last 9 games. They've won 3 consecutive series. They just beat the Reds in Cincinnati earlier this week. And that has not been the easiest place to win the last few years.
And Chris Conroy, that last pitch, I don't know where he had that one. That whole ball is in the strike zone. He didn't call it a strike.
Chris Conroy calling balls and strikes. Brennan Miller working at first. Jeremy Rehack is the second base umpire, and John Tumpane over at third. And now the 1-1 to Vaughn. And that's going to be a called strike 2. As I said, Rehack. I feel like I may have mispronounced the name. Zach, please help.
Rehack. But it's spelled Rehack.
I knew it was either that or Smith.
Yeah. And he hasn't taken the mound yet, so you're good.
Here's the 1-2. Line drive. Leaping catch by Nico Horner. Sensational grab by Nico. A solid line drive ticketed toward right field. Nico with a lunging, diving catch. Caught it at about shoulder level, fully extended, and then hit.
What is it that kind of got you hooked as a foodie, so to speak?
My dad was really into food when I was a kid. He traveled for work and he would go to places all over Europe and stuff. He was in sales, and I feel like he would come home and try and cook the things he ate overseas. And so as a kid, I was exposed to a lot of stuff that kids aren't usually exposed to. And so I credit my dad for that.
Guess who that is? Roger McDowell.
Check him out. He has his uniform on upside down with the shoes on the hand, and it looks like he's walking on his hands. Has his cap hanging down. That's supposed to be his head. Well, the Mets really trying to turn it around. They do, however, trail in this ball game 4-0. I love that.
Traditional lager, smooth and rich, or Flight, light and crisp for those hot innings. So next time you're at the ballpark, raise a Yingling to the beer guy.
Beer here.
Yingling, legends stand the test of time, just like the ones who always knew when we needed another. Yingling, official beer of the Cubs Radio Network, DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Save time every time for a great haircut. Just download the Great Clips app or check in online at greatclips.com. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Right-hander Shane Smith delivered a strike to the first offering to Pete Crow Armstrong. Now the next one hit in the air to left. Playable for Baldwin. Coming in a little bit, and that's out number 1. Pete Crow Armstrong retired on the opposite field fly ball. One away, Kyle Tucker batting. Ron, I know you've done your homework, as you always do, scouting the other team's starting pitcher. What's the plan against the right-hander Shane Smith?
Well, against Smith, you better be ready for a good fastball and a fastball up in the zone. He really does not pitch much at all below the zone or at the bottom. He likes to pitch at the top. His fastball has a little cut to it, a lot like Cade Horton. And he gives you a little bit of that fast motion, and he's not always looking at you until he's almost delivering the ball. The other pitch that he has really developed is a changeup, and his change is very good.
Kyle Tucker took outside. Now the next pitch hit into shallow left center, ranging in Luis Robert, making the catch for out number 2. Smith is a big kid.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
6'3", 240 on the mound.
When you watch his windup, he has a unique windup. It's very fast to home plate, and there's a lot going on. He's not really looking at the hitter as he gets going, and then all of a sudden his head turns and he fires. It reminds me a little bit of Goose Gossage without the big arm swing, but the speed of it.
First delivery to Suzuki is in there for a strike.
Do you see any of that with the speed of the windup going towards home plate?
It's almost like he's quick pitching.
Yeah, no, I would agree. He does, absolutely.
Here's the next offering. Fastball strike 2 called. He was a Rule 5 draft acquisition from the Milwaukee organization last year. Drafted number 1 overall in that 2024 draft. Drive toward right center. Robert on the run makes the catch. 3 fly balls, a 1-2-3 inning for Shane Smith. After 1, White Sox 2, Cubs nothing. This is the score and the South.
St. Louis Cardinals, one of the cleanest jerseys in the game. I've always felt that way. And, the birds on the bat, just an iconic logo. I mean, look how rich that yellowish gold is in the bat. All the stitching with the birds. I've just always thought it's one of the best looks in the game. 35 is the number I wore in my Major League debut. I actually think this might be the jersey from my Major League debut. So that was 2010, May 29th.
To be in, the middle of New York to display a card like this is really such a big part of the Fanatics mission. We think about how do we create new experiences. Now we get the opportunity to put incredible Holy Grail cards in front of tens of thousands, if not millions of new people. It's not just about collectors today, but also about how do we bring new collectors into the space as well. It's really what we do it all for.
My cardiologist and neurosurgeon said the only way to save me was to stop my heart, which they did 12 times.
Nationally ranked for neurology and neurosurgery by U.S. News and World Report, Tara's team collaborated to temporarily stop blood flow, allowing a catheter to reach your brain and permanently obliterate the malformation. Northwestern Medicine. Better.
Bet365 is now live in Illinois. Download the Bet365 app. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
White Sox leading the Cubs 2-0 after 1. The first inning was powered by Invesco QQQ. Let's rethink possibility. Invesco Distributors Incorporated. Pat?
Cade Horton gave up a 2-run homer to Miguel Vargas in the top of the first. It's 2-0 Sox as we begin inning number 2. Edgar Cairo or Caro is the designated hitter. Here's the pitch to Caro, and it's a fastball strike, 0-2. Caro hitting .296. He's the only man on the White Sox starting lineup with an average above .246. Horton coming back 0-2. Breaking ball a little bit low for a ball, 1-2. Just getting started. 3 straight day games. They all begin at 1:20 tomorrow and Sunday. In late July, they'll play 3 on the south side at Rate Field. Here's a bouncer slowly past the mound. Gloving is a charging Horner, and he'll throw to first in time. Caro bounces out to second, 1 away, and Josh Rojas is coming up.
Good pitch by Horton, and on the hands to get the little routine ground ball. Second inning is brought to you by Seaglass Wines, official partner of the Chicago Cubs. Bring California coast to wherever you are. Seaglass Wines.
Rojas hits a line drive into left center, a base hit. Over to pick it up is Suzuki and get it back in. White Sox making solid contact against Cade Horton in the early going. That's their 4th hit after just 8 batters. And it brings up Brooks Baldwin. Cubs leadoff man presented by Benny's Beverage Depot. If Pete Crow Armstrong would have gotten a base hit, Benny's Beverage Depot would have donated $100 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. If you can't find it at Benny's, it's probably not worth drinking. Brooks Baldwin fouls it away. A man at first with 1 down. Baldwin, a left-handed hitter. Birdie shallow at third, in on the grass. Breaking ball is down low, 1-1. I would expect to see fewer bunts than normal on a day like today, Ron, because that ball is going to be able to carry so well. Most guys are going to be apt to be swinging, I would think. Here's the 1-1. Fly ball, left center, shallow. Calling for it is Pete Crow Armstrong, battling a tough sun, and the ball falls behind him. You could tell it was a treacherous sun, and he lost that ball. He reached for where he thought the ball was going to be, but it's clear, Ron, he did not see that ball, and that's a gift base hit for Brooks Baldwin.
Yeah, he's underneath it. He's camped underneath it, and then all of a sudden, as this ball's coming down, it's in the sun, and Pete, he misses this ball by about 4 feet, and he just can't come close. Maybe not quite that much, now that I see the replay. But just can't see the ball, reaches out the glove, and it goes behind him.
It's a single for Baldwin. Now 2 men on. Chase Mydroth, the leadoff batter, stands in and takes inside.
These are the days when the wind is blowing out here at Wrigley. That's a dangerous thing. When you start giving up extra outs, walks and errors are deadly on a day like this. Hopefully, Horton can pitch his way out of this.
To your point, Ron, we saw evidence of that in the first inning.
Yeah.
The inning was extended after the interference call. And just that one extra batter created a 2-0 lead. Here's the 1-1 now to Chase Mydroth. And he'll line one down the left field line. It's going to be a foul ball. And caught by the ball boy down the left field line. Nicely done.
Yeah, that play at second base, Craig Counsell came out and argued. And as we saw the replay, I don't blame him. I did not think that was interference. Miller, the third base umpire, called it from first base. The play was at second base. So to me, that's a very odd, call for him to make, and I don't think a good one at all.
Yeah, the 1-2 from Horton to Mydroth with 2 men on, a swing and a foul back. Whenever they take a second look on a managerial challenge or an instant replay, a second opinion is always a good idea. Get yours at Northwestern Medicine. Cubs play straight away against Chase Mydroth. Now the stretch by Horton and the pitch. Swinging a bouncing ball to Nico Horner. He'll throw to second. They get 1, and that's all. And out is the play at second base. And have they called a double play? I think they've called a double play by the runner sliding in a little too aggressively and upsetting Dansby Swanson. Let's take a look, Ron. Is that what they've called?
Absolutely. They call the double play by the runner hitting Dansby, going by and not sliding.
What is something that you snack on that you don't worry about?
I love Uncrustables. I could eat like 10 of them in one sitting.
And no regard for his body? I don't even wait till it thaw out.
Hey, put them in a toaster next time. Just toast it, yep. It'll change your life.
Yeah, just an incredible play by Riley Green. You are an all-star on the field and off, bro.
I appreciate it.
Hey,
thank you.
Riley Green, bro, food genius.
I try to get a lot of stuff done before the game because I actually enjoy watching the games. We want to make sure that all the players are out there in the uniforms and they're clean, there's no spots or anything, and they have all their equipment and everything else.
We all pick each other up. I mean, we have each other's back. We all do different duties, but yeah, we all work together pretty well.
They're part of the team, you know, it's just like another teammate.
It's probably not worth drinking.
Ever feel like the road is out to... Thankfully, Hyundai is always working to ensure it doesn't, with over 130 IIHS Top Safety Awards since 2006. IIHS Top Safety Awards include Top Safety Pick and Top Safety Pick Plus awards to Hyundai vehicles from 2006 to 2025.
Right now, for a limited time, you can lease the Hyundai Tucson for $259 a month or get $1,750 bonus cash. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today. Offers end June 2nd. Call 224-661-0068 for details.
Crush concrete with a Bosch 18-volt Bulldog rotary hammer. The more you Bosch, the more you feel like a Bosch.
Michael Busch will lead off the Cubs' second inning against the right-hander Shane Smith, and he pulls the ground ball into right field, a base hit. Cubs with their first base runner, a leadoff single by Busch. Here in the second inning, 2-0 White Sox lead, and the batter now is Carson Kelly.
A good swing by Michael Busch as he hammers this ball into right field for a base hit. And starting today through Sunday, the 50-50 raffle features a guaranteed $50,000 jackpot. Fans in Illinois can get tickets at cubs.com/raffle or from the raffle ambassadors at Wrigley Field throughout the 8th inning. For each game, now through Sunday's game, a $50,000 jackpot. Wow.
That is something, isn't it? Kelly hitting .289. 8 home runs. He's driven in 23. The pitch to Carson, a swing and a miss, 1-1. Looking at Shane Smith, though, Ron, he's made 8 starts.
Yeah.
Has not allowed more than 2 earned runs. Well, let's see. He allowed 3 earned runs in one game and not more than 2 in any other game. So he's been very consistent.
Really has. He's thrown the ball well. And he's kind of a self-made guy with the changeup. He came up with his own changeup that an organization didn't work with him, and he did. And it's really helped him out. But at the end of the day, he's got, you know, what the league is working on now and trying, and it is working. The high fastball and something soft going down. So he's got the 95 fastball and the changeup.
Here's the 1-2 pitch low and outside to Kelly. Opponents were hitting collectively just an average of .205 against Shane Smith before today. The number 5 hitter, Kelly, waits. Toss to first, diving back in is Bush.
And all reviews in this game are sponsored by Northwestern Medicine. Second opinion's always a good idea. Get yours at Northwestern Medicine.
Vaughn holding the runner at first. Now the pitch by Smith, drilled toward left center. That's going to be in there for a base hit. It goes all the way to the wall, and it sticks in the vines. And the Cubs have runners at second and third. Ground rule double. The ball disappeared in the vines. And Kelly, a line drive to the gap in left center. Cubs have a great scoring chance now. Second and third, nobody out. Trailing by 2, and the batter is Dansby Swanson.
Now, the one thing for both pitchers have to, be aware of is on a day like today, when you leave a ball in the middle of the plate today, hitters are going to be very aggressive. They get a good pitch to hit. There's going to be very little taking on a lot of pitches, and if you get a good pitch to hit, they're swinging, and Kelly hammered this ball into the gap in left center.
Swanson, the batter. Infield in. Interesting. As Dansby will take a strike. Dansby's been one of the hottest hitters, but it's early in the game. You're only in the second inning, Ron. It's a hitter's day.
Yeah, wind blowing out. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now the 0-1 to Dansby. He'll swing and miss, and the count 0-2. Swanson needs to put it in play now. What's the 2-strike approach?
I would shorten up and just try to. What you're trying really to do is hit a line drive over the second baseman's head at best. But you really want to put this ball in play.
The stretch for the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Breaking ball got him. Dansby is out on strikes. 1 away. And here comes Moises Ballesteros, the designated hitter.
Pretty good tight slider down and away. Dansby thought it was going to be a fastball. He commits to it, and then it ends up breaking down and away.
Ballesteros made his big league debut 3 nights ago, and he was 0 for 4. Infield in, left-handed batter waits. And the ball outside, 1-0.
Now, this would be a situation if Ballesteros, he's only played 1 big league game. This would be a time where you really want to just try to drive the ball back through the middle.
The 1-0 pitch lifted to left, foul and out of play. Cubs credited with turning a double play after the interference call in the top of the inning. Double play is turned by the Cubs, sponsored by Nissan. Experience the thrill at nissanusa.com. Michael Bush leading at third, Carson Kelly at second. And now the 1-1 to Ballesteros. Fastball is high, 2-1.
Thought in game 1 for Ballesteros in the last ball game that he played 2 games ago, the adrenaline just got to him a little bit and he was rolling over. He was out in front. See if today he can settle down and be the normal hitter that he is and use the whole field.
Here's a big chop toward first, heading home and scoring is Michael Bush. The first baseman, Vaughn, charging the grounder through home too late. Bush got a great jump coming down the line at third, slid head first, and got in there safely. And now the White Sox are pondering, challenging the call, but they will not. Cubs are on the board. It's now a 2-1 ball game. And with only 1 away, men are at first and third. What a slide by Bush.
That's the whole play. The 2 things that you mentioned, Pat, the great break off third base. He got a great break and he had a good lead. The head first dive to the outside part of home plate and then reaching back towards the plate. The throw to the plate was a little high. It was about shoulder high. And because of that, Bushy was able to get his hand in there. Great slide. Cubs get the score.
Cubs are on the board. They trail 2-1. Runners at first and third, 1 away for Nico Horner. And the pitch by Shane Smith. And Nico will take a strike.
The White Sox in the middle of this pitch started walking in and playing the infield in again. Now the middle guys could probably turn too if they tried to, if a ball was hit right back through the middle. This would be a great time for Nico to shoot the ball the other way.
Ground ball to short. Heading home is Kelly, and he's going to be out at the plate. No, the ball is dropped. The ball is dropped. And the Cubs get a gift run. The catcher, Theis, dropped the ball as he tried to make the tag on the sliding Carson Kelly. Cubs get a huge break, and this ball game is tied at 2.
Nico chases this two-seamer inside. It's just too hopper to short. This is an easy play at the plate if you just catch the ball. The catcher never has the ball. Theis, the ball hits the glove and bounces right out. Kelly's safe easily once he doesn't make the catch.
John Birdie, the batter, swings and misses. A moment ago, give Moises Ballesteros credit for his first big league RBI with his fielder's choice bouncer. Horner safe on the fielder's choice, and Kelly safe at home on E2. There's the pitch to Birdie, and it's outside for a ball. 1-1. We have seen a game's worth of odd plays already, Ron. We're just getting started.
We've had 2 interference calls. Now we're in the bottom of the second of game 1 of the series. 2 interference calls, 2 close plays at the plate. Yeah, it's been very odd.
Birdie will take inside. It's 2-1. It's also the kind of a day you don't want your pitcher out there for more than about 18 or 20 deliveries because it.
Yeah, this is one of those days where if you have a long inning and all of a sudden you lose concentration, you lose command, big crooked numbers can get put up on the board in a hurry because of that wind blowing out hard.
Game tied at 2. Bottom of inning number 2. Runners at first and second. And John Birdie, with 1 away, has a 2-1 count. This would be a good time for John Birdie's first Cubs home run right here. And the 2-1 from Smith. Birdie swings and misses. Pickoff throw to second, not in time. Ballesteros diving back in. Ballesteros has that unusual physique, 5'8", and about 200 pounds. Very solidly built. He's also got the powder blue shoes working at second base. Ballesteros. Birdie takes ball 3, 3-2. That didn't miss by much.
No, how about it didn't miss? That's Chris Conroy today has had a very very.
Pete flied to left back in the first inning. He's got the red batting gloves on now with the powder blue shirt as he steps in and looks out at the right-hander Shane Smith. Here's the pitch on the way to Pete. Swing and a miss. Now Vargas is playing in on the grass at third with 2 outs in this spot. I'm not looking for him to bunt.
No.
I wouldn't want him to bunt.
No, absolutely. You get 2 outs. He's got 11 home runs on the year, and the wind is howling out. That's just bad placement by a defensive player.
Here comes the 0-1. Fastball is high and away, 1-1. Ballesteros at second. Horner at first. Nico does not get credit for the RBI, but he did hit the ball on which the Cubs got their second run. Here's the 1-1. Outside, a changeup. 2-1.
This would be a pitch now where you really sell out to a ball that is in your hot zone. So that pitch in inner half, middle to inner half if you're Pete.
Outfield deep and straight away. Here comes the 2-1. Rolled foul right side. The defensive alignment, by the way, sponsored by Fitzgerald Equipment. Material handling handled. Learn more at FitzgeraldEquipment.com.
RBIs by the Cubs batter, sponsored by Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter.
Pete Crow Armstrong waiting for the 2-2 with 2 outs and 2 on. And the pitch. Outside, slight advantage now. Runners will be moving. So a gapper would almost certainly drive in a pair. In fact, with Nico running at first, that's a guarantee. Runners off to their leads. There they go. The pitch hit deep in the air. Right field and on down the line and gone for a home run. 3-run homer, Pete Crow Armstrong, right down the line and right. I had to wait to make sure it stayed fair. Gone by plenty. Cubs lead 5-2.
It's a no-doubt blast that's going to carry out of the ballpark. The big thing to me on that ball is the wind blowing out towards center and left center. It really does keep that ball fair. As it goes down the line, as we know with the wind blowing out, the ball gets blown back into the field of play. This one stays straight down the line, hits the video board and right. 3-run bomb, Pete Crow Armstrong.
Cubs on top 5-2. Kyle Tucker the batter, and he'll take ball 1. For Pete, home run number 12. He's got 33 runs batted in. And the Cubs have their first lead of the day. Right down the line, fair by no more than about 10 feet. I knew it had the distance, had to wait, and it just did stay fair.
Well, he hit that ball a ton, too.
Home runs by the Cubs. Another hefty home run. Tucker lines one to the gap in right center. That's a base hit. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Tucker has great speed. He will stop it. No, he's not going to stop at second. He's going for 3. He's got a triple. Tucker run has such a graceful stride that he can be running at full speed, and it almost looks like he's coasting.
Yeah, I would agree. He went into second base, and I wasn't quite sure if he was going to keep going. And then he touched the bag, and he just never slowed down, and his head first dive into third. And he makes it into third base easily, and he does. He covers a lot of ground with those strides.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station ID. This is The Score on the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Covering the Cubs and all of Chicago sports on the Rahimi and Harris Show. Middays 10 to 2 on WSCR Chicago, WBMX HD2 Chicago, and Odyssey Sports Station.
RBIs by Cubs batters, sponsored by Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. The RBIs in the inning. 1 going to Moises Ballesteros, the first of his career, and 3 on the home run by Pete Crow Armstrong, who now has 33 runs batted in. But thanks to Old National Bank for sponsoring those RBIs, where relationships and results matter. Get old. And here's Seiya Suzuki. He's the 9th man to bat in the inning. And he drives one to the gap in left center. Base hit. Another extra base knock. 1 hop to the vines. It's a double for Seiya Suzuki. Coming in to score, Kyle Tucker. And now it is 6-2.
You got to get that RBI read close by. Seiya gets a pitch up and out over the plate, and he hammers this ball 1 hop to the 368 marker. This one does not stick in the vines. It ends up being just a regular double. But another very good aggressive swing on a pitch in the middle of the plate. That's been the key, is these young pitchers have thrown some balls in the middle. Hitters are not taking today with that wind blowing out.
Michael Busch started the inning with a single to right. He bats for the second time and swings and misses. According to the data available to us, no activity yet in the White Sox bullpen. The Cubs as a team have hit for the cycle in this second inning. Here's the 0-1, a swing and a miss.
And with that triple, Great Lakes Credit Union makes another donation to Northern Illinois Food Bank. Join the GLCU's mission of banking for the greater good at glcus.org.
Michael Busch had a single, doubles by Kelly and now Suzuki. Tucker had the triple and Crow Armstrong the 3-run homer. All in this second inning. Low and inside, the ball bouncing off the glove of Theis, but he keeps it near home plate.
That was a 92-mile-an-hour changeup in the dirt. That's the one thing about Smith. His fastball's 95, 96, but the grip on the changeup, he still throws it extremely hard.
Yeah, the 1-2 on the way to Michael Busch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that ends the inning. But a prosperous second inning indeed for the Cubs. They score 6 times, and at the end of 2, it's the Cubs 6 and the White Sox 2 on the Score and the Southwest Airlines Cubs radio network.
Talking Cubs Monday through Friday with Rahimi and Harris, 10 a.m. to 2 on the Score.
Future You is using their...
All right, so here's the Mets home jersey. To me, growing up in New York, also a very iconic jersey. The blue pinstripes that represented the Dodgers. Got the orange outline, which represented the Giants, which are the 2 teams that left New York. And then subsequently, the Mets were created. You know, my parents were Mets fans growing up, and this was the jersey that I also dreamed of wearing.
PSA dove in. Do we have them graded?
We do. This is the first set of graded cards from the 2024 Topps MLB Network set.
I'm so excited about this.
Yeah.
Now, they all have the same grade, or?
No.
So one of us will be like the highest graded card.
Could be. There could be multiple. So first up, we got Mark DeRosa.
Let's see what he writes. Of course, D-Rose a 10 out of 10. Handsome, athletic. All right.
Time and temperature sponsored by Circa Sports Illinois. Bet like the pros and download the Circa Sports app today. Pat?
Now Cade Horton will work with the lead for the first time today. Young right-hander making his Wrigley Field debut this afternoon. Fires a strike to Matt Theis. Luis Robert Jr. on deck, and then Miguel Vargas. Cubs lead 6-2. Today's ball game brought to you by Invesco QQQ. Let's rethink possibility. Invesco Distributors Incorporated. Now the 0-1 pitch on the way to Theis. Lifted foul off to the left and out of play.
Pretty good breaking ball there. Hart took a little off. That one probably the slowest hook he's thrown so far.
And the next pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. High fastball got him. Theis chasing one up around the shoulders. And is strikeout number 2 for Cade Horton. Strikeouts by Cubs pitchers. Brought to you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. One away, 6-2 Cubs in the third, and Luis Robert Jr. the batter. Swings and taps it foul at the plate. We're going to play the Benny's Beverage Depot attendance game. If you can't find it at Benny's, it's probably not worth drinking. I see folks on the rooftops. Fans in every corner. It's going to be a sellout, obviously. Here's a smash foul toward the Cubs' third base dugout. I'll go ahead and start our guesses today. 39,793.
Okay.
39793.
I will go 40,400.
So you're going for the 40.
Yeah. A lot of passes today.
So there was a reason for that guess. Here's the 1-2 to Luis Robert Jr. Fastball high, 2-2.
I had 15 people. I left tickets and I put Hughes,
I'm sure it'll show up in the mail. Here's the 2-2 pitch down low for a ball. It's 3-2.
You know, you just write Hall of Fame after that, and they just, come on in. Yeah, come on in.
Yeah, that's the way that works.
Yeah.
Now, Ron, you have the big get-together at your restaurant, CUBS Corner, down in Lockport. Is that a full weekend, or is that just tomorrow night?
I don't know if I have the energy for a full weekend.
Smacked on the ground at third. Birdie's got it, throws to first in time. 2 down in the third inning. Cubs lead 6-2, and here's Vargas. So it's a one night only.
Yeah, tonight we're going to do a little post-game Crosstown Classic party. Some of the guys from Score and US 99 will be there. It's sponsored by Yuengling. Thank you to those guys. They've been phenomenal since we've kind of got together, and so they're sponsoring. They're coming out there. They're going to do a tasting. We're going to have some fun, a bunch of ticket giveaways for the Cubs and White Sox from them. The White Sox have donated a couple different packages. Very nice of them with their low box seat tickets, so that was very nice. And then one of our friends, Johnny Vincent, is going to sing tonight and do a couple sets at our place, so it'll be a very nice night. And I'll be here a little late tomorrow.
I understand. Speaking of singing, the great Beyonce is in our great city. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Drilled to deep left center. Back goes Crow Armstrong near the wall. That's going to be a home run. Up into the basket for Miguel Vargas. Again, the wind is blowing out today. That was a wind-blown home run. He hit it hard, but on most days it would not have left the yard. It's now a 6-3 ball game. Vargas with his second homer of the day, and he now has 5 for the year.
Yeah, this ball is well struck. It would be probably an extra base hit on a normal day, but with this wind howling out to left center, that's right where he hit it, and he got it elevated. It ends up in the first row of bleachers just over the basket for Vargas.
So Vargas has driven in all 3 White Sox runs with his 2 homers. Here's a drive down the left field line. Over near the line is Suzuki. No play for Seiya. Seiya knew he was getting close to that padded brick wall, the side wall. You don't want to be running into that thing at a full speed.
Nor do you want to run into the ball boy down there, and he was trying to get out of the way, but the ball, it's one of those things where the wind keeps pushing the ball, and the ball was following him.
There's also a chair where the ball boy sits. And I think that's a folding chair.
It is, yeah.
Can be picked up and moved. Here's a breaking ball down low, and it's 1-1.
But we've always known when the ball goes down the lines here, when the wind is blowing out at Wrigley, the ball gets pushed back to the field of play. You got to remember that.
Joshua Palacios with a count of 2 balls and 1 strike. Third inning. Cubs 6, White Sox 3.
And continuing with the Binny's Beverage Depot attendance game, the maestro, our engineer, Paul Zarang, going 38,922.
Fouled away, Zach. Go ahead.
And I'm going to make my guess. I'm going to squeeze in right between both of you with 40,150.
The old squeeze play trick. Okay. So that's the way you're going to play.
Got it.
Here's the 2-2 on the way to Palacios. A little bit low, 3-2. But you could have invited Beyonce to your place down in Lockport.
Well, I had invited Zach to the thing until the squeeze play. He just got he just got X'd off the VIP list real quick.
Here's a fly ball to shallow left. Suzuki backpedaling makes the catch. And that ends the inning. The third inning and this slow down in the action is brought to you by Iservay. The Sox get a run on the home run by Vargas. We go to the bottom of the third inning. Cubs 6, White Sox 3 on the score.
Celebra tú también con Betcris.
Man, these seats. I know, right? Thank you, Game Time. Easiest way to find only the best deals on the best seats. I wonder how the other guys are doing.
These seats are trash. What the heck, man? I spent hours finding a deal on these. Trash.
Oof. Finding seats for prices this good is tough. They should have used Game Time. No more endless searching. Just great options at incredible prices with their Game Time picks. What time is it? Game Time.
I feel like food and sharing a meal with someone is a universal language. You can't go to a ballpark and not have a nice hot dog. So if I'm at the ballpark, I'm gonna get a nice heavy glizzy. You gotta have chili on there, you gotta have cheese. If your hot dog isn't been
Suits2020.com.
Carson Kelly on deck for the Cubs. Who's on Deck is brought to you by TimberTech Decking and Railing. Everything wood should be. Visit TimberTech.com. Pat?
Carson Kelly leads off this third inning. Cubs put 6 on the board in a frolicking second inning rally. Let's see if they can put some more numbers on the board now. It's one of those days where you really don't feel secure unless you get up by about 9 or 10 and you get to the late innings. Other than that, anything is possible. Here comes the 2-0 fastball away to Kelly, 3-0.
Yeah, today's one of those days you really feel good when you got the third out in the ninth. It's just one of those days that you just never know.
Managers and pitching coaches work overtime on days like as well as pitchers. Ball 4 to Kelly. Now here's something we see, Ron, when the wind is blowing out and it's a great hitter's day. You'll see a pitcher like Shane Smith. He gave up more runs in that second inning than he has in any full outing all year. And then he walks the leadoff man the next inning. Yep. I've seen that before. They just don't want to make the same types of pitchers.
Yep, that's right.
And here's Dansby Swanson taking a strike, 0-1. Who can blame him, right?
No, it's just the mindset that you can't make mistakes in the middle of the plate, so you start trying to pitch to areas of the strike zone, and then it's very tough to do that when you're what I would consider Smith being kind of a max effort guy.
Outside, not close, 1-1. Swanson with a 15-game on-base streak. He's got 9 home runs. He's driven in 24. He always plays great defense at shortstop. It's a treat, in fact, to watch him play. It's a treat watching Dansby and Nico Horner as the double play combination. Certainly one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Absolutely. I just really like the Cubs defense, and in particular up the middle. And you got an elite defender like Pete Armstrong, 2 guys in the middle of the diamond.
Swing and a miss, 1-2.
And our catchers have done a great job behind the plate this year. They really have. So, as you've talked about through the years, you always try to set your team up, with strength through the middle of the field on defense, and the Cubs have that.
Pitch to Swanson, lifted to the right side. That's going to stay on the field of play today. And the first baseman, Vaughn, makes the catch right in front of the White Sox first base dugout in foul territory. Out number 1, Kelly the runner at first. Cubs lead 6-3, and the batter is Moises Ballesteros.
Ballesteros has had a hard time just staying back, his first couple games in the big leagues. This would be a good at-bat to really just try to shoot the ball the other way. Just take this at-bat and aim for left center and take your chances there.
Moises takes a strike. He did pick up his first Major League RBI in the second inning with a fielder's choice bouncer. That was the play where Michael Busch made a nice slide at the plate. Shane Smith ready, and the 0-1. Ground ball toward the middle, diving backhand stop by Rojas, goes to second, 1, and the throw to first not in time. Good play by Rojas. He slid on his knees and made that backhanded stop, and then from his knees shoveled the ball to the shortstop Meidrith.
Yeah, ball hit sharply up the middle. They get the force at second. Ballesteros, for a big, strong guy, gets down the line good enough to where you're not an automatic double play.
Nico Horner safe on a fielder's choice his first time. And Nico gets jammed and fouls it at the plate. Nico without a home run, but this is the kind of day he could go deep.
Yeah, any hitter in the lineup for either team can hit a home run today if you get the ball elevated.
Wind blowing mainly out towards center, and I would say slightly toward left center. The big right-hander Smith is ready in the 0-1. And Nico will take a fastball strike. 0-2. Just getting started in a weekend full of baseball. Every game begins at 1:20. Tomorrow, Matthew Boyd against Sean Burke. Colin Ray against Jonathan Cannon on Sunday. Pop-up foul down the right field line. Chasing it is Vaughn. Did he make the catch? No, he did not. Vaughn appeared to get his glove on the ball as he was near the side wall at the tail end of the first base dugout area. He kind of lunged into that netting and dropped that ball. Actually, I'm watching it again, and I don't know that ball ever hit the ground.
It never hits the ground, but it hits the net.
Oh, it did. Okay.
He doesn't control the ball through the catch, there and then it lands into the net.
There it is. And the umpire, Brennan Miller right on top of it. Now the 0-2 to Nico. Bounce toward third. Glove by Vargas. Goes to Rojas for the force at second. And that's in time to end the inning. Despite the leadoff walk, the Cubs walk away empty-handed. It's on to
won a Cy Young, 73, 5, and 6, I've got an extra 5. And then it says, has worked as a TV commentator. And I did start back in 1978. I did the Yankees and the Red Sox playing the one-game playoff. And ABC said if the Yankees win, Reggie will play, and then you'll go broadcast with Howard Cosell and Keith Jackson. And that's how I started my broadcast. And that's the Bucky Dent home run. So every time I see Bucky Dent, I go, thank you for making me a broadcaster.
To the Cubs, James Hardy Building Products, siding with the Cubs.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is sponsored by Citgo. Club Citgo can save you money every day. When you start with Citgo, you're good to go. The Reds will be hosting the Guardians just after 4 o'clock this afternoon in Cincinnati. Brady Singer will be on the mound for the Reds. Pat, Tanner Bybee will take the hill for the Guardians.
Zach, thank you. As Andrew Vaughn leads off and swings and misses. They count no balls and 2 strikes. I'm a little perplexed by the 4 o'clock Friday afternoon starting time in Cincinnati. Is there a reason for that, Zach?
I'll get on the phone and I'll find out. I don't know off the top of my head.
Here's a swing and a fly ball to center. It's going to be caught by Pete Crow Armstrong. Battling the sun, he has to go down to one knee and make the catch. That indicates that sun is quite treacherous for a center fielder right now, Ron.
That ball right in the middle of the field has been a problem. Pete has lost one in the sun. He got underneath this one to try to turn around and then got down to a knee and then made the catch, but it is not easy out there in center.
Edgar Caro, the batter. Caro takes ball 1.
And Pat, the reason for the game being moved up to 4:10 Central Time is because of the threat of severe weather later on tonight in Cincinnati.
Okay, there you go. Zach, thank you for hustling that information down. Caro fouls it away, 1-1. White Sox were in Cincinnati the last 3 days, and the White Sox won 2 out of 3. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. And the count 1-2.
One of the few changeups Horton has thrown, but that was a good one.
Cade was the winning pitcher in his major league debut in relief in New York against the Mets last Saturday. He's got a 6-3 lead today in the 4th inning. Caro bounces one to the left side, and it's gloved by Swanson. Quick throw, got him. Dansby playing in back of Birdie. It almost looked like Birdie made an effort at getting a glove on that ball and missed it, but Dansby was right behind him, and Swanson had his feet ready to make the throw as soon as he touched that ball.
Yeah, Birdie comes over to field this ball and cut this ball off before it gets to short. But he's going to end up getting a really bad in-between hop, and he just lets the ball go. Dansby gets a high hop, but Dansby, as you said, Pat, had his feet ready. He makes the catch and then instantly is ready to throw the ball and ends up making a nice play.
Here's Josh Rojas batting. 2 down, nobody on. Cubs lead 6-3 in the 4th. Rojas swings away and fouls it away.
That last play by Dansby, the issue with that play is so many times the shortstop's going to expect the third baseman to field that ball. You're not going to be prepared to catch and make that throw. It's a great play by Dansby.
Swinging a foul off to the left out of play. It's one of those moves just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case he doesn't make the play, I'm going to be ready to make it. Now the 0-2 pitch on the way. Looper shallow right going out Horner. That's going to fall in for a base hit in front of Tucker in shallow right field. Josh Rojas, a bloop single, and the batter now is Brooks Baldwin.
It's a little cut fastball inside and probably breaks the bat of Rojas, but is strong enough to muscle that ball out there in the short right for a base hit.
Baldwin had a single his first time. Left-handed batting left fielder. And he'll take a strike. Birdie's shallow at third. Top of the order to follow. Baldwin waiting for the 0-1. And that's going to be a strike. 0-2. Now Birdie backs up and plays deeper at third. Short lead at first by Rojas. The stretch by Cade Horton. And the pitch just a little bit high. 1-2.
Good try by Horton. He throws that fastball up and away. Tries to get it to come back to that outside corner and just missed high.
Horton working quickly. And now the 1-2 delivery from the Cub right-hander. Breaking ball is low, 2-2. White Sox part of the American League Central Division. The Detroit Tigers lead that division. The Tigers are a very good ball club. They're 14 above 500, 29-15. And how about the Tigers' home record, 17-5?
That'll get it done.
Now the 2-2. The runner's going to go. The pitch dribbled toward third. A charging Birdie has it. Running through to first to get him. In time to end the inning. No runs on a hit. The Sox leave a man. Middle of inning number 4. Cubs 6. White Sox 3.
I'm Jonathan Mayo, and for more than 20 years, I've traced the path of baseball's rising stars, navigating the back roads of the national pastime and basking in the glow of small-town America's spirit, where the team is woven into the fabric of everyday life, where it's more than just a game. It's a celebration of the people, the traditions, and the culture that give these places their soul. This is Grassroots.
I was so inspired by what you were making that I want to do my own all-star ballpark bite, but I'm thinking we take some of that brisket that you make, and I'm going to do like a little slider. Got the pepper jack cheese, some American, get it going with some of the barbecue sauce that you have, that spicy, delicious one, and then caramelized onions. Make like a little sandwich. We cool?
Sound like a plan.
I think we did good.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thanks, Chef.
Of the Chicago Cubs. Hefty, ultra-strong trash bags resist rips, tears, and leaks. Strength that's anything but ordinary.
Hefty, hefty, hefty! League leaders are sponsored by American Sail. Bring the fun home. Aaron Judge leading the majors in batting average, hitting .412. Judge, one of 3 guys tied for the home run lead, along with Shohei Ohtani and Kyle Schwarber, each with 15.
John Birdie leads off Zach and swings and misses. What else you got?
Judge is also the RBI leader with 41. He's the on-base percentage leader, the slugging percentage leader, the OPS leader. He's got more hits than anybody.
Yeah, but what else has he done?
Ohtani leads in runs scored with 48. And Luis Robert Jr. of the White Sox is the stolen base leader with 17.
Reading about the Dodgers win last night over the Athletics. I believe it was 19-2, and the Dodgers built up something like a 15-3 lead by the 4th inning. There's a liner down the right field line, slicing and going foul.
Did you say 15-3 by
3rd or 4th inning? I mean, it was a blowout early, and the final 19-2 Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw is going to make his season debut for the Dodgers, beginning his 18th year. Realize the Dodgers have 3 prominent starting pitchers on the injured list with shoulder issues, namely Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, and Roki Sasaki, all on the injured list. Fastball is down low, 1-2. Austin Barnes, their catcher, was designated for assignment by L.A. earlier this week. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and Birdie is out number 1. And according to what I read, Clayton Kershaw, very disappointed that Barnes, his battery mate, is going to leave the organization because he said he was a great guy to work with, and regular season, postseason games, they've teamed up as a battery for many of Kershaw's big wins. Pete Crow Armstrong, the batter. Lines one toward right. That's going to be a base hit. Pete with the big blow in the second inning, the long 3-run homer down the line in right. So now let's see if maybe he can steal a bag in a spot like this.
Well, it'll be interesting now. Smith with a very quick windup and delivery to home. Now with a base runner like Pete Crow Armstrong, see how quick he is to home plate from the set position and see if Pete can steal second base. You got Tucker at home plate though.
Tucker, a check swing foul off to the left. The first out in the top of this fourth inning, sponsored by Xfinity, where the Wi-Fi is booming.
Fourth inning sponsored by Wintrust, home of the exclusive Cubs debit card. Member FDIC, EHL lender.
Tucker takes high for a ball. It's 1-1. See if the Cubs can add to their lead. This is not a secure advantage, not on a day with the wind blowing out. I've seen too many of these, Ron.
Yeah, that's for sure. You can't ever have enough runs with this wind howling out the way it is.
Tucker has flied out and tripled. Throw to first, Crow Armstrong back in.
Mully & Haw talk Cubs baseball and Chicago sports every weekday morning, 5:30 to 10 on 670 Score and the Odyssey app. Had a fun time with those guys this morning. I was in studio this morning with them at 8 o'clock. We had a great crowd of Cubs and Sox fans in the studio today. So
1-1 pitch down low, dropped by the catcher, and Crow Armstrong runs to second base. I couldn't tell if the ball hit the dirt. If it did, it's a wild pitch. If it did not, it's going to be a pass ball. We are watching it again. That's going to be a wild pitch.
Yeah, a little changeup in the dirt. And Pete takes second base. But thanks to Dustin and Mike and David for having me in this morning. A lot of fun. And David Haw, Pat, I thought about you, was making homemade popcorn this morning.
2-1 pitch fouled away by Tucker, 2-2.
In studio. Yeah.
Homemade popcorn.
And he was competing against the group Nuts on Clark, right? And they were competing with popcorn. And I told him, that's like going into a home run hitting contest against Babe Ruth. I wouldn't suggest it.
Here comes the 2-2 from Shane Smith. Line drive into right center, but it's going to be caught by Palacios, the right fielder. Tagging and going to third is Pete Crow Armstrong. But now there are two down, and it brings up Seiya Suzuki. Okay, Ron, you had this spot many times as a big league player. You're hitting in the middle of the order. 2 outs, you got a teammate at third. What's the plan?
If I'm Seiya, I'm looking for something hard, because his fastball and his changeup, one's 90 miles an hour, one's mid-90s. I'm looking for hard and up and out over the plate. I want to get a ball elevated at the 400-foot marker. That's what I'm shooting for right now, as a pitch up in the zone that I can elevate.
Seiya 1 for 2 with an RBI double. He'll take a strike. Suzuki third in the big leagues in RBIs with his 36. He is actually tied with Pete Alonso now for second. Aaron Judge has 41. There's a chopper foul left side, but to be in that category among the big leagues RBI leaders, that's a feather in your cap.
Yeah, there's no doubt. You love, that. It's the one stat that everybody kind of looks beyond nowadays, and I'm like, someone's got to knock in the runs, though.
I think only some people consider RBIs not as vital as it once was. There are a lot of us old school types, Ron, who still consider it a vitally important statistic. And without guys driving in runs, good luck winning those games.
That's right.
Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way to Suzuki. Bounce slowly toward third, charging as Vargas, gloves it, running throw to first to get him. And that ends the inning. Cubs don't score. Zach Zaidman joins Ron Coomer in a moment. At the end of 4, Cubs 6. White.
Gosh, we've gone to Sea Dogs games since we were kids.
I've been coming to see the Sea Dogs for the last 30 years. Great experience.
Everybody here is just bends over backwards to help people out and wish the world was like it is right here at the ballpark.
We've always wanted to be more than just a baseball team. We want to be strong, active, contributing members of the community. And I think that effort is seen by the people and the fans, and they want to support that effort.
Hank Greenberg helped popularize the first baseman's mitt, holding a massive 13-inch pocketed glove. That was quickly banned, reducing the maximum size to 12 inches. Paul Richards also developed a black hole-sized catcher's mitt. This ginormous thing, measuring 42 inches in circumference, was known as Big Bertha, or the elephant, for its massive size. It was swiftly outlawed as well.
A lot of baseball fans have some familiarity with the T206 American Tobacco card set. Of course, features the famous Hannes Wagner card. What we have here are 3 cards from the lesser-known T205 set, which really was a successor to T206. T206 came out in 1909. These 3 cards, as part of the T205 set, came out in 1911.
Sponsor the Cubs. James Hardy Building Products. Siding with the Cubs.
Alongside Ron Coomer, Zach Zaidman with you. Top of the 5th here at Wrigley Field. We're coming to you live all season long from the Invesco QQQ broadcast booth. Proud ETF partner of the Chicago Cubs. And it's the Cubs with a 6-3 lead over the White Sox in the opener of this 3-game weekend set. Chase Mydroth at the plate. Bouncing ball up the middle. Fielded left of second by Swanson. Slings a throw across in time to get his opposing number. Chase Mydroth, the White Sox shortstop. So 1 away, the first out. Brought to you by Xfinity. The Wi-Fi is booming.
Now, going into this inning, I've talked a lot about my musical abilities. And I heard some sounds coming out of here, Zach, when you started speaking that sounded a lot like some of those musical sounds. I think, was that your...
Well, I was speaking, so I didn't have the opportunity to practice playing the clarinet like you, but someone in the booth is. And that person needs a little work, so they'll remain nameless for now. Matt Tice at the plate, the White Sox catcher. Righty-lefty matchup, and the pitch high and outside by Cade Horton, 1-0. Horton with just 2 strikeouts so far this afternoon in his first big league start. Horton whirls and deals. That pitch is low for a ball, 2-0. Cubs with a 6-3 lead over the White Sox. Horton faces home plate, now works his motion. Tice pounds one on the ground to second, fielded by Horner. His throw to first in time, 2 away.
Well, and you're gonna love that if you're Craig Counsell and you're getting outs in the 5th from Cade. And the other thing about that is when you're looking at this flag and he's able to throw that hard cutter that ends up getting ground balls instead of fly balls. That's a big deal here on a day with the wind howling out to straightaway center.
Luis Robert Jr. at the plate. He hits one high in the air, right center field. Crow Armstrong under it and makes the running catch for out number 3. So the White Sox go down in order here in the top of the 5th. Middle 5, Cubs 6, Sox 3 on the score in the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Start your mornings with Cubs Talk.
play in Toronto, Guerrero sends over some good stuff for the guys. So when we play in Toronto, I definitely dive into that.
You gotta be careful with Vladdy, bro, because a Dominican breakfast will put you to sleep, bro. ¿Cómo está sonando la comida dominicana ya?
La comida dominicana ya no sé cómo está sonando, porque obviamente mi esposa me cocina. O sea, hay restaurantes, pero no voy a comer comida latina.
today.
On Saturday, May 31st, the Cubs take on the Reds at 1:20 in the afternoon. The first 10,000 early arriving fans will receive a Dansby Swanson Flow headband as Michael Busch looks at a strike on the outside corner from right-hander Shane Smith, a slow-moving breaking ball that spun in the zone. 0-1. Yeah, you heard right. A Dansby Swanson Flow headband presented by Hefty. Be here for it. Visit Cubs.com/tickets as Busch swings and misses a change-up. I can't even look at you, Coom. 0-2 the count.
Why?
Because
I think that Flow headband would look marvelous on you.
Better than what I've got going on right now? I believe you would say yes. It's low, a fastball that missed 1-2.
Paulie, I didn't say anything, right? I just stayed quiet. I let him, and I think we're going to have to talk to Jesse about getting an extra Flow headband for you.
Ground ball hit up the middle, backhanded on the edge of the outfield grass by Rojas. His throw to first in time to get a hustling Busch. Nice play by the Sox second baseman. One down here in the bottom of the fifth inning. The Cubs with a 6-3 lead over the Sox. I mean, I'll try it, but I don't think I could rock it quite like you.
I've got my own Flow already. I'm one of the few baseball players at my age that still has his hair. So we'll just, it's not the same as it was in my 20s, but at least I got some.
Carson Kelly looks at a ball low and outside. I would agree. I think we're very lucky as a broadcast booth.
With the hair?
Yeah.
We actually all have it. It's amazing. Yeah.
Now the 1-0 delivery by Smith. Kelly hits one foul on the ground off to the left. 1-1. Cubs are right in the meat of their order, presented by Chef IQ Sense. Never under or overcook your food again. Purchase now at chefiq.com. We're talking about the morning show host David Haw as Kelly swings and misses at a curveball. 1-2. Host of the wildly popular Mully and Haw show on Chicago Sports Radio 670 The Score. You were on this morning. You said that David was making popcorn.
He was.
How was it?
It was very good. He has his own recipe of making homemade popcorn. Very involved.
Really?
It was very good. Mike and I were jamming it in our mouths as fast as we could, and David came in, and all we needed were a lot of napkins.
So good job, David.
Yeah, it was very good. But, when you're competing now the sponsor of this morning's event was Nuts on Clark, and they're really good at it. You know what I mean? They're really good at the popcorn and all the stuff. If if you're Chicago and you've been there, there's no doubt about that. And all their people were there. Really cool setup that they had earlier today. But, you're competing against someone that's really, really good at what you're doing. But David did a good job, and we had a really fun morning this morning with Mully and Haw, Dustin, and Ed Mitch, and everybody from the Score. Rich was there.
Smith zips a fastball past Kelly. He swings and misses. Strike three, so 2 away here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Cubs with a 6-3 lead over the Sox. Cubs scoring all 6 of their runs in the second inning. The big hit, a 3-run job by Pete Crow Armstrong, his 12th of the year, 396 feet to straight right. Dansby Swanson digs in, and he does have some good flow with that hair as he looks at a ball low and outside. 1-0. But back to your popcorn story. I mean, you might be competing against Babe Ruth, David, but, Lou Gehrig still played with Babe Ruth. There's room for others.
There is room for others. I just wouldn't want to compete against someone like he was today, but it worked out just fine. And, Actually, David did a very good job. It was good. It was very good.
Someone tells me it's the bacon grease that's the secret sauce there.
Grease, that's right.
Swanson lines one into right center field. Little drop in for a base hit. Big turn at first base, but Robert quickly gets the ball back into the infield. Dansby Swanson came into play, hitting nearly 400 over his last 15 games. Now has his first hit of the ball game, a single the other way.
Once you start looking at Dansby's at bats over the last few weeks and how much better they are, and the production has just skyrocketed. That is the reason why he's able to take that fastball that's away from him, either down and away or up and away, and use the other side of the field, at least with the approach, and drive the ball that way. It just keeps you on all the other pitches, and Dansby with a line drive bullet to right center.
Now the DH, Moises Ballesteros, steps to the plate. Left-handed batter, wind blowing out to left. The pitch, lined foul out of play. Second deck off to the left, 0-1. Designated hitters for the Cubs, sponsored by BBQ Authority. Visit BBQ Authority in Lisle. During the pregame show, you predicted today could be a special day for Ballesteros.
Yeah, I did. I thought maybe he waits on one of these pitches and gets one up into the middle of the field. He might hit his first big league homer.
That pitch high and outside, 1-1.
Might get his first big league hit. Could be a homer. Right here, you just got to, he's got to just slow things down just a little bit. Take a breath, do what you normally do, and that's drive that ball and your approach to the middle of the diamond.
A long set, now the 1-1. That one squirts past the catcher, Tice, and all the way to the netting, off to the right behind home plate, and Swanson advances to second base.
Oh. That's a wild pitch. It's a very odd, wild pitch. I'm not quite sure why, because Tice looked like he was coming up like he was going to throw to first base as a pickoff on a changeup in the dirt. He did not go down to try to block this ball, and it ends up being a wild pitch.
The 2-1, a big rip and a miss by Ballesteros. 2-2 the count. Ballesteros picked up his first major league RBI in that 6-run second inning for the Cubs. It came on a fielder's choice. Cubs 6, Sox 3. Swanson at second with 2 away here in the 5th. Now the 2-2. Ballesteros lines one right into the glove of the second baseman Rojas on the edge of the outfield grass for out number 3. Swanson stranded at second after 5. Cubs 6, White Sox 3 on the score, and the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Hey Chicago, this is Kyle Tucker. Pat and Ron call every game here on the Chicago Cubs Radio Network.
BBQ Authority has Chicagoland's largest selection of gas grills, pellet grills, electric grills, Big Green Eggs, pizza.
Where did you get these seats? They're trash.
I got a guy.
You've got a guy. You gotta use Game Time for concert tickets.
Game Time's for sports. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. It's also the best way to guarantee you're getting the lowest price to your favorite artists too, even at the last minute.
What time is it? It's Game Time!
Concert tonight? Get in last minute with Game Time.
Celebra tú también con Betcris.
A snack that Freddie cannot resist.
I would have to say chips and guacamole.
Organic mango, yep.
Is that because of the strong Dominican contingent in the major leagues, bro? Has anybody ever struck out and gone crazy and smashed a cooler full of mangoes?
Nah, our team's not really into smashing each other's stuff, I guess.
Are you a seasoning guy? You like to drown your stuff in dips and sauces?
No. Gotta watch my figure.
And it looks great, brother.
I appreciate it.
Very sexy man.
Yeah,
Let's go, Freddie Freeman, ladies and gentlemen.
When you open an eligible checking account and complete qualifying activities, visit oldnational.com/checking and get old. Member FDIC. Additional restrictions apply. Offer valid through June 2nd, 2025.
Summer starts now at American Sail. Save up to 50% on the largest selection of pools, patio sets, hot tubs, and grills. American Sail. Bring the fun.
Right-hander Daniel Palencia, the new Cubs pitcher. Hard-throwing right-hander working to Miguel Vargas. First pitch a little bit high for ball 1. Vargas, Palacios, and Vaughn, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Cubs leading 6-3. A swing and a foul back. It has been 6-3 ever since the 3rd inning. Cubs got all of their runs in a big rally in the second inning. Pete Crow Armstrong, a 3-run homer. Seiya Suzuki drove in a run with a double. Here's a little pop fly, shallow right center, might be trouble, and that's a base hit. Pop fly single by Miguel Vargas. Vargas now 3 for 3, had homered twice earlier. And the batter now is Palacios.
Well, he kept him in the ballpark that time. That's a positive.
Yeah.
He hit 2 home runs to start the ball game, one in the first and one in the third. Now, base hit just over Nico's head. Once Nico took off running, you knew that was trouble because the wind blowing out just blew that ball away from him.
Palacios hits a fly ball to left, playable for Suzuki, waiting, squeezing, out number 1. Palacios retired, and the batter is Andrew Vaughn.
Cubs pitching changes. They're sponsored by James Hardy Building Products, siding with the Cubs. Daniel Palencia coming in for Cade Horton. Thought Cade did very well today, Pat. I was very impressed. He gave up the home run in the first and didn't change anything about the way he carried himself on the mound, his pitch selection, what he was doing. Everything just stayed the same. Kept pounding the strike zone. I thought very, very nice job by Horton, giving up just a couple runs here, 3 runs in 5 innings on a day. That's a great hitter's day.
Very difficult to pitch. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way to Vaughn. Swing and a miss. So Cade Horton is in line to win for the second straight time. It'll require some bullpen work for the Cubs. Palencia really has been strong of late. The right-hander deals. This pitch is fouled away off to the right and out of play. Palencia has not allowed a run in 8 straight games, covering some 8 2/3 innings. So he's been a very reliable guy of late. Big, strong right-hander ready in the 0-2 pitch. Instead of toss to first, that pickoff throw hit the runner Vargas in the body as he dove back in. We should get the attendance figure here soon. It's going to be in the 40,000 neighborhood or thereabouts. Very breezy, sunny, beautiful spring day. Lake Michigan, a deep shade of dark blue as we look out beyond the right field fence. The runner goes. The 0-2 pitch bounced toward short. Swanson's got it from shallow center. Throws to first in time. Safe at second on the play. Vargas. Good play by Dansby. He read that play nicely. Backed up. Got a good hop. Took his time and made a good throw to get him.
Yeah, Cubs catch a little bit of a break, too. This ball hits the mound on the line. Hits the mound and then bounces. And then Dansby gets a nice high hop. But he's in the outfield grass behind the bag when he fields this ball, but a very nice play by Dansby to get the out.
Edgar Caro, the batter, left-handed hitter, takes high. First out in the inning, brought to you by Xfinity. The Wi-Fi is booming. And still booming now that there are 2 outs. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Palencia. Strike called, 1-1. Getting close to a station ID. As soon as this next pitch takes place, we'll send one along. A backward glance at the runner by Palencia. Another one. And now the pitch. Swing and a foul back. 10 for ID. This is The Score and the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Your headquarters for Cubs Talk. It's the Mullen Haw Show, mornings 5:30 to 10 on The Score and the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network, WSCR Chicago, WBMX HD2 Chicago, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Cubs 6, White Sox 3, 6th inning, 2 down, a man at second. Here's a fly ball foul down the left field line and out of play. Cubs trying to get to 7 games above 500. This is the only game going on around the big leagues. We thank you for joining us wherever you might be. Here comes the 1-2, fouled away off to the left, out of play. The Cardinals are in Kansas City tonight. A lot of rivalry games. Just reading about the Houston, Texas battle for the bragging rights in the Lone Star State. Last night, Jacob deGrom pitched a gem. Here's a drive to left. Pretty well hit. Back goes Suzuki with room. Makes the catch. That ball started to sail. Suzuki turned one way, had to turn back the other way. And right near the indentation of the ball, reached up as that ball started to sail on him. Good play. The inning is over.
You've already mastered playing baseball, Virgo, but you're curious about what goes into the sport off the diamond. You're finding that researching the history of the game is helping you uncover hidden skills that you didn't know you had. Letting yourself explore what catches your interest could be your secret advantage on the field.
Surround yourself in color with Regal Select from Benjamin Moore. Rich, durable, and effortlessly beautiful. Find yours at your locally owned retailer. Visit BenjaminMoore.com today.
Nico Horner's on deck for the Cubs. Who's on Deck is brought to you by TimberTech Decking and Railing. Everything wood should be. Visit TimberTech.com. Huh?
All right, Zach. Nico Horner will lead it off against the left-hander. Tyler Gilbert, his first pitch missing for a ball. Horner has hit into a couple of fielders' choices. The first one was significant because on that same play, the Cubs got a run. As the catcher Theis dropped a throw from the shortstop Mydroth, allowing a run to score. That was part of the 6-run rally in the second. Nico bounces one foul toward third. The third baseman Vargas tried to get it before it got to the bag and overran the ball, but it was called foul immediately by home plate umpire Chris Conroy. That hit Nico right in the foot.
Yeah. He expended a lot of energy for a foul ball, I'll tell you that.
He really did. He probably regrets it now.
I'm 100% sure of that.
All that for nothing? There's a smash into left field, a base hit. Vargas, after the previous play, just didn't have the energy to dive for that ball.
Well, that's a hit.
Sharp single by Nico. One of the team's best base runners is on. Here is John Birdie.
Well, now Gilbert on him on a left-hander. See if Nico gets a big lead, kind of a one-way lead, just to see what Gilbert has to throw over to first. And there you go.
Birdie has struck out twice. Cubs need to start getting some production from that third base position in the lineup. And the pitch on the way to Birdie is high for a ball, 1-0.
And let's see what's on tap here in the sixth inning, sponsored by Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer. And the Cubs have launched a home run today. That's in Flight by Pete Crow Armstrong. Could use a couple more here before this game is over.
You might need a couple more.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Yuengling, I'd like to just say thank you to them. They are the sponsor tonight of our Crosstown Classic Party, Coons Corner. So thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Now, is that just tonight, or is this going to be a whole weekend?
If it's a whole weekend by Sunday, I'll be sleeping here.
The 1-1 is swung on and missed. Is that a no?
Yeah, that's a no. Yes.
So tonight only. It's at Coombs Corner.
Yeah, that's tonight only. And
in Lockport.
And then, I will be back to the normal schedule of ballpark, home, back to the ballpark. That's it. Yeah.
Toss to first, not in time. Horner at first. Nobody out. Bottom of the 6th inning.
Now, I can make you an offer. You could host it tomorrow at my place, and then I'll just go home and you can host it. We can make it a Hall of Fame bash tomorrow.
If you make it a Hall of Fame offer, here's a pitch, and running and stealing second is Nico. He's going to go to third. The ball bounced into center field, and Horner gets the stolen base. The throw by Theis, the catcher, bounced past Rojas into shallow center, and the Cubs have a man at third with nobody out.
Now, the Cubs, all season long, when they hit and they get base runners on, they've been able to do a lot of things, and stealing bases is one of them. They put a lot of pressure on the opposing team's defense. Nico does it there, stealing second, and the error pushes him to third.
Now Birdie with an RBI opportunity, nobody out, infield in. Wind has actually picked up and is blowing even harder out to left field at this point. Left center maybe. The left-hander Gilbert is set for the 2-2. And Birdie will lace it foul off to the right out of play. Opposing pitching changes, by the way. Those are sponsored by Sloan, official water efficiency partner of the Chicago Cubs and leader in smart water and commercial restroom solutions. Go to Sloan.com. Now the 2-2. Birdie strikes out swinging, and that's out number 1. Birdie strikes out for the third time. It's up to Pete Crow Armstrong with one away. How would you approach this at bat if you were Pete?
Now, here against the lefty, here early in this at bat, I would look for something that's away. I would look for a breaking ball away or something that's away, and I would really dial into left center field and see if you get a breaking ball. You might get something you could hammer.
There was a breaking ball low and away, Ron, but taken by Crow Armstrong for ball 1.
The hittable breaking ball in this at bat is the one that starts out at you and breaks over to the middle or even outer third of the plate. If you're jumpy at it, that's where you get that rollover ground ball. That's the White Sox want him to do and hook it at Vaughn at first. If you can drive this ball to left center, it could be an over and in, and you could hit a 2-run homer.
Cubs lead 6-3. Looking to add to that lead with a man at third and one away. The 1-0 pitch. Check swing. It's outside, ball 2. 2-0. Kyle Tucker on deck. And now time called. Manager Will Venable, along with one of the trainers, is going to go out and see about Tyler Gilbert. Activity is commencing in the White Sox bullpen. Miguel Castro starting to throw.
I did not see it in the last pitch. I'm going to be honest, didn't seem like it had a lot on it, but maybe there is something wrong, and that's right after that. That's when Will Venable and the trainer came shooting out.
Cubs got all of their runs in the second inning. They scored 6 times. Seiya Suzuki had an RBI double to cap the rally. The big blow was the 3-run homer by the guy at the plate, Pete Crow Armstrong. Moises Ballesteros drove in a run with a fielder's choice. And that's going to be all for Gilbert. He's going to leave this game. We don't know why or what the exact reason for his departure is, so we're not going to speculate. But we can tell you we're going to take a time.
All right, so here's the Mets home jersey. To me, growing up in New York, also a very iconic jersey. The blue pinstripes that represented the Dodgers. Got the orange outline, which represented the Giants, which are the two teams that left New York. And then subsequently, the Mets were created. You know, my parents were Mets fans growing up, and this was a jersey that I also dreamed of wearing.
Hire a champion today.
Don't hesitate. Call the 8s.
312-888-8888.
A reminder that Cubs Stolen Bases are powered by Atturo Tire, Chicago's hometown tire. Find a dealer at Atturo.com. And Pat, can I borrow a bit from you that's called This State in Baseball History?
Well, I like Ron's recommendation to you. Just start from the top and keep on moving.
On this date, May 16, 1965, defeating the Yankees 7-5, Orioles' 19-year-old rookie right-hander Jim Palmer wins his first major league game. Andy homered.
Really? Wow.
Also his first big league home run off of Jim Bouton. How about that for a
That's
debut?
Good research, Zach.
What else happened on this date?
In 1981, Astro Craig Reynolds hits 3 triples in one game, only the 7th player to accomplish that feat.
3 triples. I think Lance the
Johnson.
guy that played for both the Cubs and
Lance
White Sox.
Johnson. Yeah.
I think Lance had a 3 triple game.
How about that?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
In 2001,
there you go.
Connecting off of the Astros' Shane Reynolds, Sammy Sosa hit his 14th home run to become the 33rd major leaguer to reach 400 career homers. At the time, Sosa has hit a whole bunch of them since, but what a career. And that was just one indicator of how special of a career it would be.
Zach, well done. Brandon Eisert is the new left-hander for the Sox. Again, we still don't have any word on why Gilbert had to leave, and as soon as we do, we'll pass it along. But one of the rules of baseball is if a pitcher leaves because of some kind of an injury or illness, the new man coming in gets as many pitches as he needs to get ready, and that's a rule that's been on the books forever, and I think it makes a lot of sense. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to give, you can't do anything about, a pitcher getting hurt in the middle of a ball game, so, you can't risk the next guy having an issue, so you just let him throw till he's ready. He is ready. And now Pete Crow Armstrong will come to the plate with a 2-0 count on him with a man at third base, Nico Horner, and only 1 out.
Baseball history notes often have a quote, a saying attributed to a certain person. And we'll get to that in a minute. Pete Crow Armstrong at the plate. Infield in, lefty to lefty. The pitch popped up foul, might be playable. Right side down the line. That ball's blowing into fair territory. It falls in for a base hit. Coming in to score, Nico Horner. Crow Armstrong thought it was going to be foul. He knows he could be at second base right now, and he's saying, my mistake for not running. He's still a young player, Ron. He hasn't played many games here, but you learn you never take anything for granted on a day this windy.
Yeah, that's one of those plays where this ball starts out well in foul territory, and as we've talked about throughout this game, when the wind is blowing out to center, the balls down the line get pushed back to the field of play. This ball gets pushed back about 20 feet, lands in fair territory, and Pete Armstrong gets an RBI single out of that play.
Horner scoring on the play. It's an RBI for Pete Crow Armstrong, his 4th of the day. Remember, he had the 3-run homer earlier. That ball looked like it was going to be in the stands when it left the bat. And it just kept blowing back into fair territory and landed just fair down the right field line, maybe 20 feet beyond the infield dirt.
Well, and the only guy that had a chance at the play was Rojas, and that is a really tough play when you're expecting it to be in one spot and the ball gets blown 30 feet to another spot and you're running about 100 feet to go get it. It's just almost an impossible play.
it would be almost comical, Ron, to look at some of the paths taken by fielders on windy days. You start running one way and you start thinking, uh-oh, I'm not running where I should. You kind of run a little half circle to get where you should be. Here comes the 2-1 to Tucker from Eisert. A liner toward right down the line, coming in Palacios. That's a base hit. Pete Crow Armstrong motoring to third safely. Cubs now with a chance to break the game open somewhat. They lead 7-3, first and third, one away, and the batter now is Seiya Suzuki.
Now this little breaking ball down and away, and Tuck just goes out and hooks this ball down the line. Ends up with a base knock, his second hit of the ball game. And now Cubs first and third, only one out. RBIs by Cubs batters, sponsored by Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. Get old.
Infield back for the White Sox. Seiya Suzuki will take a strike. But here's the quote attributed to Casey Stengel. I like this one. Hall of Fame manager, Yanks, Mets. Now the pitch by Eisert. Fly ball to shallow center. Robert is going to make the catch. Tagging Pete Crow Armstrong. The play at the plate will not be made. Tagging and scoring is Pete Crow Armstrong. Robert's throw was cut off near the mound by Vaughn. And another run is in, and the Cubs now lead 8-3. That might be a big run.
Yeah, it's a good at-bat. You know, Suzuki not trying to do too much. Just get this ball elevated to the middle of the ballpark. And Pete with great speed, play not close at the plate. For the outfielders trying to throw home, you're throwing right into the teeth of that wind. That ball didn't go anywhere going towards the plate.
Throw to first, diving back in Tucker. But the quote attributed to Casey Stengel, I like this. He said, "The trick is growing up without growing old."
That's really good.
Here's the pitch on the way inside, and it hits him. Michael Busch gets hit by the pitch, and he will take his base. It looked like an off-speed pitch that he thought was going to break more than it did.
Yeah, a little inside slider, starts out probably behind Michael and just catches him in that right tricep area. Gilbert left the game, Pat, with left knee soreness, so that push-off leg for him was bothering him, and that was a problem.
Manager Will Venable is going to make a move and bring in a right-hander in this spot. So we'll take a timeout and be right back in a moment. Pitching changes by the opposition. Sponsored by Sloan, the official water efficiency partner of the Chicago Cubs and leader in smart water and commercial restroom.
Biggest thing we're bringing is a brand new Tony Gwynn drop I did with his estate. So we just signed a deal at therealist.com to actually go through his entire archives, present them, and auction them off. And to announce it, we did this limited edition 1994 The Lost Season card. Because, you know, between August of 93 and May of 95, Tony Gwynn batted .406 in 162 games. So in the back, we have the stats of what could have been.
Led off the inning with a single. Stole second, went to third on a throwing error on the stolen base. Scored on a pop fly single. by Pete Crow Armstrong, a ball that was misjudged because of the wind and the sun. Crow Armstrong went to third on a base hit by Tucker and scored on Seiya Suzuki's sacrifice fly. And now Michael Busch has been hit by a pitch, putting 2 men on with 2 down, and the Cubs enjoying a 5-run lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
It's one of those days today with that wind howling out that you want. Score as many as you can. Cubs with 2 outs, but 2 men on, and you'd love to keep adding on here in this ballgame.
Kelly with a double, a base on balls, and a strikeout today. 2 outs, 2 on. Castro fires. Low and inside, almost hit Kelly in the lower leg. Two outs, 2 on. 2 runs in. Here comes the 1-0. Way outside and low, 2 balls and no strikes. Some of these new young guys pitching at Wrigley for the first time. This is a tough day to pitch here.
You come jogging in from the bullpen and you look back up after throwing your warm-up pitches at the flags in center and you go,
There's a fastball strike, 2-1. Well, for the hitters, this day makes up for some of those days in April and May where it's a wind chill of 30. Fastball strike 2 called on the outside edge. Some of those days early in the year, Ron, very difficult for the hitters.
Absolutely, without question. Wind blowing in at 20 to 30 miles an hour. You know, the wind chill, as you said, somewhere around 30 degrees. Not good hitting days at all.
Now the 2-2 way outside. That's been part of the history of the Chicago Cubs. How do you put a roster together, because you play some games in cold weather, some days in very warm weather, and those are 2 completely different types of games.
Yeah, absolutely. You just have to make sure your hitting style is adapting to the weather.
Here's a bullet backhanded beautifully by Vargas at third, and he throws to first in time. What a play by Vargas over at third base. He took away what might have turned into a 2-run double for Carson Kelly. The Cubs settle for 2 runs as we go to the 7th inning. It's the Cubs 8 and the White Sox 3 on the score, and the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Cubs Talk.
Talk to me.
This is called a Crawford dog. Hamburger bun.
Yes.
2 split top Angus beef hot dogs griddled on the skillet, on the plancha. And then we do a bacon onion jam with Crawford Bock beer.
Pick it up like a burger.
Pick it up like a burger and you just go in, man.
Let's go to town.
Yeah.
Boom. Oh, best hot dog I've ever had. Best hot dog I've ever had. I love this, man.
This is how I grew up eating hot dogs.
So this is MLB Network Talent Stars.
Okay.
The stars of MLB Network. Can I trade a pack of these for a signed Lawrence Shahadi card?
How about we do a little bit of both? Money, a little trade.
Will you open it up and see if you like it?
They're really nice.
If I sign it, does that equal the Lawrence Shahadi 20?
All right.
Do we have a good trade?
We have a good trade. Thank you so much. That was fun.
Nice doing business with you.
We are coming to you live all season long from the Invesco QQQ broadcast booth. Proud ETF partner of the Chicago Cubs. Pat?
Caleb Thielbar, a left-hander, is the new pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. Josh Rojas, left-handed batting infielder, will lead things off. And a swing and a miss. Thielbar, the former Minnesota Twin. And how about your former team, the Twins, an 11-game winning streak? I was reading about that this morning, Ron. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Thielbar to Rojas. It's low and away. When the streak began, and this is one of the things I love about baseball, things happen just right out of the blue. When the streak began, they were 13-20.
Right.
They were not a strong team. Here's the 1-1 pitch in for a strike.
Yeah, going the wrong direction. Absolutely.
So now winning 11 in a row, and now they're 24-20, and they feel completely different about themselves.
Oh, yeah.
It's the fourth longest winning streak in Twins history. Their record was 15 in a row in 1991. That might have been the year that Scott Erickson was their ace on the staff.
That was the year they won the World Series in 91.
I saw him pitch a no-hitter one night. Ground ball to first, fielded by Bush. He will run to the bag in time. Thielbar forgot about covering first. And Bush and Thielbar had a very brief conversation, like, next time I'll cover.
Yep.
I hope you do.
Or, Michael, we're headed to Miami. I got dinner tomorrow night. Or Sunday night. Thank you very much.
One away, seventh inning. Brooks Baldwin, the batter. He'll take a strike.
There's not many teams you would ever play for. I don't care what level you're at, that you'd win 11 in a row, right?
That's a serious winning streak. And you know you're a pretty good team when you do that, Ron.
Right.
They swept Baltimore in the season series. Now, here's another odd thing. They swept Baltimore in all 6 games, 3 in Maryland, 3 in Minnesota. After last year, it was Baltimore who swept Minnesota in all 6 games.
How about that?
Go figure that one. 2 balls and a strike on Baldwin. One away, 7th inning. Cubs on top, 8-3. Outside for a ball, 3-1. I was reading about Texas with their 1-0 win over Houston last night. Jacob deGrom outdueled a young guy by the name of Hunter Brown of Houston. He's pitched very well. Pop fly shallow left, going out Swanson. Coming in, Suzuki. Easier play for the man coming in, and that's out number 2. Cubs on top 8-3 in the 7th. Chase Mydreth, the batter.
And I see Zach put on our board. I did not know who was singing the 7th inning stretch today, but someone you're very familiar with and someone who I've met many times, Doug Bruno, the recently retired legendary women's basketball coach from DePaul, will be singing the 7th inning stretch. See? Very cool.
He is
absolutely
a huge Cubs fan.
Huge, yeah.
And a legendary coach in his own right.
Great guy. I've met him many times here in the city, and just super guy.
Very nice man. The 0-1 pitch taken down low for a ball. But Jacob deGrom, who is now 36, made his longest outing in over 4 seasons last night with an 8-inning shutout performance.
I think Bruce Bochy's a happy camper right about now, thinking he's got that guy back.
For a couple of reasons. For one, Bochy, with his win last night, gave him 2,195 as a big league manager, which allowed him to move ahead of Sparky Anderson on the all-time list. A swing and a smash base hit by Mydreth into left field. Past a diving Birdie. Good try by Birdie at third.
Yeah, that's an excellent effort by Birdie. Lays out, and it's an in-between op. Throws the glove out there. Now, he's an ex-goalie, so he's used to firing the glove out there and hoping the puck jumped in. That would have been a shot and a goal. Not much he could do with that one.
The Bruce Bochy run, do you realize he passed Sparky Anderson, and is now 6th on the all-time Major League managerial win list.
What a managerial career. It's pretty good, man.
4 World Series titles, 3 with the Giants, 1 with Texas a couple of years ago.
Now, have you met Bruce? Have you met Boach
I have,
much?
briefly.
Yeah, what a great guy. Super. Talk about a great guy to talk baseball with.
Down to earth.
Oh, yes, very much so. Great guy. I've had dinner with him a couple times and just, you couldn't meet a better baseball guy to sit and talk and laugh and have a good time with, but great baseball guy, and congrats to him.
One of the things I appreciated about him was he did not personally take any great credit for any of the World Series titles.
Yeah.
It was always, hey, the guys did it. I just put them out there, and they did the job. I did very little.
Yeah.
You know, you like that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Now the 1-0 to Matt Thaiss. Lefty to lefty. Thaiss, a late swing on a good fastball by Thielbar. 9 hits for the Sox, 10 hits for the Cubs. Cubs leading 8-3. Same 2 teams tomorrow and Sunday, both days at 1:20. Now the lefty Thielbar coming back to Thaiss. Curveball is down low, and it's 2-1.
Good pitch by Thielbar. That's good off-speed pitch. Took a little off his slider. That one just missed low.
Cubs pitching change is sponsored by James Hardy Building Products, siding with the Cubs. 2 down in the inning. Here's a deep drive to right. It is playable, however, for Tucker, battling the sun, and he makes the catch. What a play by Tucker. Cole Armstrong racing over on a collision course. Pete went behind Tucker at the last second. There was no contact. That was a scary moment, though. And Tucker made a fantastic catch. What concentration he had to have to make that play. He stumbled and fell over and rolled over, but somehow caught that ball.
Where did you get these seats? They're trash.
I got a guy.
You've got a guy. You gotta use Game Time for concert tickets.
Game Time's for sports. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. It's also the best way to guarantee you're getting the lowest price to your favorite artists, too, even at the last minute.
What time is it? It's game time!
Concert tonight? Get in last minute with Game Time.
Well, we certainly served it up over the plate. This is a burger fit for a home run king, the 99 burger in honor of Aaron Judge. They sell a bazillion of these at Yankee Stadium. It looks pretty good. I feel like we passed the test. What about you?
I think so.
Practice carpools. Dynamic storage for when quick stops at the antique market turn into a whole new living room set. Easy. Google built-in for when you choose the road more exciting. And innovative technology and advanced safety features for all your precious cargo. The new Volvo XC90, designed for life. Visit volvocars.com/US to learn more.
Dansby Swanson leads off the bottom of inning number 7. Cubs enjoying an 8-3 lead. Boy, what a catch by Kyle Tucker to end the top of this inning. With the sun and the wind and his teammate coming at about 100 miles an hour. I don't know how he kept his concentration on that ball, but he did. There's the 1-1. Dansby takes outside 2-1. Just thinking about Casey Stengel, I think one of my favorite stories involved Ron Swoboda, former outfielder for the Mets of yesteryear, many years ago. Swoboda got angry after making an out, struck out or popped up, left a bunch of guys on base.
Right.
And he was so angry that he kicked his helmet, and somehow the helmet stuck to his foot.
Oh, my.
And Casey made him run out to right field with the helmet still stuck on his foot.
Come on.
I think it's a true story.
Yeah. Now,
I've read about it.
Because of the person that you're talking about, I would believe it. You know, because Casey Stengel did have some stories now, and there are some things that happen that, you know, you hear and you go, that can't be, and oh, yeah, and people say, yeah, that's exactly right.
Here's the 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss by Dansby Swanson, and that's out number 1. But I can just imagine a big league outfielder hobbling out to right field with a helmet stuck on his right foot.
No.
Hilarious.
Hilarious, unless you're the guy that's got the helmet on your foot.
Something tells me he never kicked a helmet ever again after that day.
You just set your equipment down and just go on out to the outfield.
Moises Ballesteros will take inside for a ball. 8-3 Cubs. Cubs took 2 out of 3 against Miami earlier this week. Cubs will be on the road next week. 3 games in Miami, 3 games in Cincinnati.
This would be a good time by Ballesteros, so look for that fastball, get one. He could knock off a lot of goose eggs on that scoreboard. One swing of the bat.
He was trying, Ron. He swings and misses. He was trying to launch that one. Ballesteros did drive in a run with a second-inning fielder's choice bouncer. He has also grounded out and struck out. Nothing for 3. And he takes way outside. That's going to be ball 3, 3-1. Cubs' big inning was the second. Half a dozen runs in that second inning rally, and they've led ever since. Low and inside, Ballesteros gets the walk. It's a 1-out walk, and the batter, Nico Hoerner.
Yeah, nice at bat for Ballesteros. Did not chase anything out of the zone.
Nico made a great defensive play earlier. He's 1 for 3. He had a stolen base. In other words, it's been kind of a typical Nico Hoerner day, contributing on many levels to the team cause. Now the set for the 0-1. Bouncing ball toward third, fair, down the left field line, base hit, bouncing off the sidewall. Ballesteros motoring to third on a double by Nico Hoerner. And the Cubs have men at second and third, trying to increase their 8-3 lead.
Well, you just talked about Nico contributing in many ways. 9th double of the season, second hit of the ball game. He has probably the catch of the game at second base. You know, and to me, he just does so many things. Stolen base, scored a run. So another great day for Nico. And Cubs keep piling on the runs. In a day like today, you can't have enough runs here with the wind howling out straightaway center.
That is for sure. Now a pinch batter coming up for the Cubs. And Nicky Lopez is pinch hitting for John Birdie. Infield in, the pitch to Nicky. In there for a strike. Nicky, one of a group of ball players who has played for both the White Sox and the Cubs. 209 players have played for both franchises. Lopez waiting the pitch. Nicky hits a ground ball foul. Chris Flexen, Brad Keller, and Nicky Lopez, the current Cub players, White Sox Mike Tauchman has played for both, of course. I didn't realize there were that many. 209 have played for both teams. One down, Cubs on top, 8-3, 7th inning. Fastball, strike 3 called, and Nicky Lopez is caught looking. 2 down.
And now with 2 outs, you get 2 men on, second and third. Pete Crow Armstrong at the plate. He has had a very nice day with 3 hits, 4 RBIs in the game.
And even with 2 outs, Vargas is still shallow at third. Interesting. You've got runners at second and third. And the pitch to Crow Armstrong, looped into shallow center. That's a base hit. 1 minute in. Horner will score. 2-run single. Cubs have broken it wide open and lead 10-3.
Another big swing of the bat from Pete. He gets a pitch that he can handle right away and just serves this ball right back through the middle. Little 2-seamer down. He can handle the ball down as well as anybody. Base hit. Good base running by the Cubs. Horner scores easily, and the Cubs with another 2 spot here in the 7th.
When's the last time you saw a leadoff batter drive in 6 runs in a game? That's what Pete Crow Armstrong has done today. A 3-run homer, an RBI single in the 6th, and now a 2-run single here in the 7th. Cubs on top 10-3. Tucker hits a fly ball to left, but it's going to be caught by Baldwin. As Baldwin went back, that ball started to sail on him. Cubs scored twice. It's on to the 8th inning. Cubs 10, White Sox 3. This is the score in the
It's 312-888-8888.
10-3 Cubs, top of the 8th inning here on a gorgeous day at Wrigley Field. This 8th inning is sponsored by Cars for Kids. 877 Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today, Patrick.
Okay, Ron, we go to the 8th inning. Nicky Lopez stays in the game defensively and plays third base. Luis Robert Jr. pops it up. It's not a routine play. Nico Horner dancing underneath it and makes the catch. And then tumbles backwards, head over heels, or heels over head. And he made the catch. Again, I've seen so many games in conditions like this. There's no such thing as a routine pop fly. It just does not exist.
No. When Nico went up, he had it under control, and then all of a sudden, as an infielder, when you know the wind is blowing out hard and then you start backpedaling, you're like, oh, boy, this is not good.
First out sponsored by Xfinity. Yeah. The Wi-Fi is booming.
That's when you look at your right fielder and go, anytime you want, you can come in and get that one. That's okay by me, yeah.
The 0-1 to Vargas. Missing for a ball, 1-1. Ryan Presley, the new man on the mound for the Cubs. Presley working on Vargas. Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did.
Pitching changes by the Cubs. They're sponsored by James Hardy Building Products. Siding with the Cubs.
A ball and 2 strikes on Vargas.
We're coming to you live all season long from the Invesco QQQ broadcast booth, proud ETF partner of the Chicago Cubs.
Swinging a bouncer foul. Cubs have drawn several walks in the game. I count 4. That's an unofficial total. But walks to Cubs batter, sponsored by It'sNotAGameIllinois.com. Remember, a walk is free, but a DUI is not. Drive sober or get pulled over. Deep fly ball to left center, and it's off the base of the wall. It's going to be a double for Miguel Vargas. What a day he has had. 2 homers, a single, and now a double for the cleanup hitter for the White Sox.
Yeah, he's a triple shy of the cycle. And this ball's well struck. He might have hit this ball as hard as any ball he's hit all day. Line drive bullet off the ivy in left center.
Pete Crow Armstrong, though, he's been everywhere today. Driving in 6. Has to be close to the most by a leadoff hitter in Cubs history.
Yeah, I would think so.
We're going to call him the hardest working player of the game. Brought to you by Bosch Power Tools. The more you Bosch, the more you feel like a Bosch. Swing and a miss. And the bat flew out of the hands of Joshua Palacios. And he's feeling a bit like a Bosch.
Yeah, that bat just got Boshed.
Watching it on the replay, left-handed batter, it flew right out of his hands. And thank goodness for that netting up above the dugout. That otherwise would have just gone sailing into the stands. And could have upset someone's beverage. Here comes the 0-2 to Palacios. Chopper foul right side.
Tough play of the game, sponsored by Loyola Medicine. Loyola Medicine defines tough. How about the great play by Nico Horner earlier today? That leaping catch. That was a great play. It was early in the ball game. Saved 2 runs on that leaping grab. That stopped 2 runs from scoring. That goes into the gap for sure.
Yeah. He took a base hit away from Andrew Vaughn. That ended the top of the first. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Down low for a ball. 1-2. 40,171. A full house at Wrigley today. Zach Zaidman, the winner. And Zach, very proud of his victory. Put 6 stars next to his name and number. So nice going, Zach.
Kind of squeezed in there, he said, didn't he? Yeah.
Swing and a miss, strike 3 by Palacios.
Mm-hmm. Kind of suspiciously close to the actual guest, to the actual attendance, too, isn't it?
I think that's why you put the stars here, to kind of divert our attention. It's an old trick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Andrew Vaughn, the batter. 1 away, 8th inning. Cubs on top, 10-3. Presley to Vaughn, and there's a pitch down low for a ball. Vaughn has lined out, flied out, and grounded out. 2 down, top of the 8th inning. Cubs out hitting the Sox 12-10 and lead at the pay window 10-3. Now the 2-0 to Vaughn. Big chop to third. Lopez has to wait for the second bounce. Makes a 1-hop throw, and a good play by Lopez. Gets his man at first. It's about the only way he could have done it. And that ends the inning. Sox don't score, lead 1.
Let's open this up. Take a look at what we find. Looks like we've got Lauren Shahadi.
Animation is great.
We got Robert Flores, one of the stars of MLB Central, with Lauren Shahadi. Then we got Mark DeRosa. Look at that. He looks like Superman, does he not?
Right? He was when he was with the Cubs.
Harold Reynolds looking ripped in a tracksuit in Studio 42. There I am. The hair's all
I know this guy.
Look at that jawline.
$1,750 bonus cash. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today. Offers end June 2nd. Call 224-661-0068 for details.
Make smooth cuts with the Bosch miter saw. The more you Bosch, the more you feel like a Bosch.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is sponsored by Citgo. Club Citgo can save you money every day. When you start with Citgo, you're good to go. They're getting set to start baseball in Cincinnati. Guardians and Reds. They're starting that one a little bit early because of severe weather in the forecast later tonight in Cincinnati. Pat?
Okay, Zach, thank you. New pitcher for the White Sox. We will identify him momentarily. This is Gomez. And the pitch by Gomez is outside for ball one.
Just Gomez?
Well, he does have a first name.
Oh,
I'm not sure we have time to say that first name. It's got a lot of letters in it.
I thought you were going with the Gomez or Liberace or one of them. Madonna.
I should have.
Pele, Prince.
Now you're talking. Casper. And the 2-0 to Suzuki from Gomez. And this pitch is swung on and missed.
Now, wasn't that the father of in the Addams family, Gomez?
It was.
Yeah, right?
It was.
Different guy on the mound today. Yoendris Gomez.
Now the 2-1 drill down the left field line toward the left field corner. That's going to be a fair ball. Bouncing into the corner. That's going to be a two-bagger for Seiya Suzuki. Seiya having a good day. That's his second hit of the day, his second double. Cubs leading comfortably 10-3 here in the eighth inning, and the batter is Michael Busch.
Yeah, big day for Seiya. 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, a sac fly, and a couple good plays in left field. So very nice day for Seiya as he pulls his hands in and hooks that ball down the line, keeps it fair, and rattles it around in the corner.
Yoendris Gomez working on Michael Busch. Busch takes inside, almost hit him in the right arm. It did. It grazed him in the right arm. And he is hit by a pitch for the second time today. So 2 men on, nobody out, 8th inning. Cubs 10, White Sox 3, and the batter is Carson Kelly.
Yeah, this one comes in and just clips him. He's been hit 2 times in a row now, but neither one is anything intentional. This pitch just an inside fastball, just barely clips him.
Opposing pitching changes brought to you by Sloan, official water efficiency partner of the Cubs and leader in smart water and commercial restroom solutions. Visit Sloan.com.
Now, how about the catch of the game today? Now, Nico made a nice leaping grab to save a double.
Oh yeah.
But last inning, the triple gainer that he did after the catch,
Tucker.
Yeah, that was a good play. So how about that catch for the catch of the game?
Kelly takes low and outside. Either or run. That's your call.
Yeah, that was sponsored by Catch Des Moines. Discover the weekend getaway in Des Moines where, as you know, Pat, only the S's are silent. Find all the fun at catchdesmoines.com.
Here comes the 1-0 to Kelly. He pops it up. Shallow right center. Not routine. Going out Rojas, and that's in there. The throw to second is wide. Everybody is safe. A pop fly. That's about the 3rd or 4th one today that you knew it would be a hassle, and nobody got a glove on it. In shallow right center, you had Rojas, the second baseman. You had the center fielder Robert, the right fielder Palacios, and it fell in between that triumvirate of White Sox.
Now this is just one of those. But this ball's got to be caught. But it's got to be caught by either the right fielder or the center fielder. One of those two guys has to come in and take charge of that ball and make that catch. That is not that tough a play. Somebody's got to do that, and they did not.
It's a base hit for Kelly, and he'll take it. His second hit of the day. Bags are loaded. And now the stretch by the right-hander Gomez. Swanson hits a drive to right center. Pretty well hit. Going back is Palacios battling the sun. Makes the catch. Tagging and scoring is Suzuki. Advancing to third is Bush. Holding at first is Kelly. Cubs now lead 11-3.
Well, when you look at the day-to-day, the base hit and the sac fly, both by Dansby Swanson, both bullets the other way. His production has skyrocketed over the last few weeks, and really his approach to being able to go back through the middle into right center, very important, and he is doing it now. That was another really quality AB for Dansby.
Moises Ballesteros still looking for that first big league hit. Maybe this will be the time for his first knock. He takes inside. Let's pause 10 seconds for station ID on the Score and the Southwest Airlines Cubs radio network.
All the Cubs talk you can handle on the Spiegel and Holmes Show. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 670 The Score. WSCR Chicago, WBMX HD2 Chicago on Odyssey Sports Station.
The next offering, swinging a smash foul off to the left out of play. Seventh inning stretch. Last inning sponsored by the new Volvo XC90. Designed for life. Tough play, tough day to make plays on pop flies at Wrigley. Here comes the 1-1. Swing and a miss.
Days like today, the rule of thumb has to be the infielder goes out, but the outfielder's got to be aggressive coming in because the ball's blowing at them. They've got to be the ones taking charge.
Cubs lead 11-3. Ballesteros waiting for the 1-2 pitch. And a swing and a smash foul. All the tough plays of the game sponsored by Loyola Medicine. Loyola Medicine defines tough. The right-hander Gomez ready for the 1-2. Low for a ball, 2-2. Please stay tuned for the toast of the game. That'll be named by Ron Coomer. And it is sponsored by Benny's Beverage Depot. That's coming up in the 9th inning. Now the 2-2. From Gomez. Swinging a line drive. There it is. First big league hit for Ballesteros. Rounding second and going to third is Kelly. And that baseball will be saved for the trophy case of Moises Ballesteros. Major league hit numero uno.
Very cool moment. Ballesteros hits this line drive bullet, and he doesn't hardly get out of the dirt, and he's pumping his fist. Big swing of the bat. His family is all here in Wrigley. So congratulations to him on the first big league hit, and he drives in a run, his second RBI of the game.
Born in Venezuela in the town of Los Teques, Teques, and great to see his family here at Wrigley today. What a moment. They'll never forget it. And by the way, it drove in a run, his second RBI of the day. Let's not forget about that. And the Cubs lead 12-3. Nico Horner waiting. And the 1-0 to Nico. Breaking ball is outside, 2-0.
Stream every out-of-market game, live or on demand, plus stream MLB Network 24/7 for the entire season. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
This pitch misses. Please stay tuned for the postgame show, the Verizon Cubs radio postgame show. Produced, written, and narrated by Zach Zaidman. The 3-0. Taken for a strike. Horner with a single, a double, a stolen base. He has scored twice. And the pitch to Nico, chopped foul, left side. It's always important for guys to keep their concentration at a very high level. Even though it's a lopsided game, these at-bats count on your record.
Yeah.
And that's a business decision that players make, Ron. That's good business to keep grinding. There's a swing and a big chop to short, fielded by Mydreth. He will glove it and throw to first, not in time. A run scores. A hustling Nico Hoerner gets the RBI. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
There you go. Nico hits a bounder, a high chopper to short. Shortstop thinks this is going to be a routine double play ball. Guess what? Nico Hoerner is running down the line. He's flying. And Nico ends up getting an RBI because of his hustle on that play. To your point, you play all game. You don't do anything to show up the other team, but you keep playing hard. Nico just showed it there.
Cubs lead 13-3. Nicky Lopez batting. Let's see if Nicky can join in the hit column. 15 knocks for the Cubs today. First pitch in for a strike.
You know, that's the big game for Nicky Lopez. Growing up in Naperville, played now for both teams, the Cubs and the Sox.
Here's the 0-1. Nicky hits it foul. I like the defensive play he made last inning, Ron.
Yeah.
Had to wait for that second bounce and then threw a one-hop throw to first. It seemed to make a lot of sense.
It did, and it's the way he made the hop. The hop that he gave the first baseman, Michael Busch. He gave him a nice, long, easy hop where Michael could stretch out to the ball. It was an excellent play by Nicky.
Here's a little chop foul behind the plate. Well, we thank you for joining us. Zach will have the post-game show. Thanks to Paul Zarang, our great engineer, as always, for a job well done. There comes the 0-2 now to Nicky Lopez. It's low and inside for a ball. We seem to have taken care of all the commercials, and makes you feel a little lonely.
Do you want to add some on there?
Not that lonely. 1-2 on Nicky Lopez. And the pitch on the way. Swinging a foul at the plate.
Not that lonely, huh?
We'll be right back out here again tomorrow and Sunday. Each game at 1:20. Cubs with 4 different multi-run innings today. And the pitch bounced to first, gloved by Vaughn. Underhand feed to Gomez, and that ends the inning. The Cubs score 3. We go to the 9th inning. Cubs 13, White Sox 3. This is The Score on the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Hey, Cubs fans. It's Pete Crow Armstrong.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs. And Pat, prior to today, the Cubs' largest margin of victory against the White Sox at Wrigley Field, 9 runs, an 11-2 win back in 2018.
2018. Edgar Carroll will lead off this 9th inning. So today, the Cubs on top by 10. Here's a line drive, base hit to left by Carroll. Leadoff single, Carroll with his first hit of the day, and the batter is Josh Rojas.
And the largest Cubs margin of victory over the White Sox in any game prior to today, 2020, a 10-0 victory over the Sox.
Cubs enjoying a 13-3 advantage, 9th inning. Julian Merriweather, the long-legged right-hander, doing the pitching now, fires a pitch that is swung on and missed by Josh Rojas.
And this 9th inning is brought to you by Bosch Power Tools. The more you Bosch, the more you feel like a Bosch. I think someone said that already today.
Swinging a foul back. And Ron, it's about time for us to think about the toast of the game. Presented by Benny's Beverage Depot. Benny's is the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs. And that's your assignment, naming the Benny's Beverage Depot player of the game. Swing and a miss, and that's strike 3. Rojas is out on strikes. 1 away, 9th inning. And the batter is Baldwin.
Well, I think our toast of the game, you'd like to give it to Cade Horton with his first start in getting a W here at Wrigley, but he is in the running. But how about Pete Crow-Armstrong with 4 hits, 6 RBIs, a homer, a 3-run homer, and 2 singles to drive in runs. 6 ribbies for Pete today. So Pete Crow-Armstrong will be our toast of the game ball player.
Making another big step forward toward being a National League All-Star here in a couple of months. Swing and a miss by Brooks Baldwin. You know, you think about the things that Pete Crow-Armstrong does every day, Ron. The speed, the throws, the catches, the power, the stolen bases. It's getting to a point where I don't know how you could possibly keep him off of the All-Star team.
I would agree. And the things that he does in center field are incredible. You know, with his defense and his throwing, just the way he plays center field, is maybe the best in baseball right now. You could make that case for sure. And now that he is doing his job as a hitter, and he's learning on the fly. He's a very young guy. He hasn't played a lot of minor league baseball. But now you start looking at these numbers, and you're 11, 12 home runs. You're way up. You're into the 30s now in RBIs. You're, stolen bases way up. He's having a great start to this year. Really is.
Brooks Baldwin will take down low. It's 2-1. I remember there was a play last year, a game against the Cardinals. It was a 9th inning play. He and Nico Horner failed to communicate. Ground ball to second, the throw to second, 1 over to first. That's in time for a double play. And this ball game is over. Are the Sox going to challenge it? I don't think they will. Cubs already start to celebrate. It's a 4-6-3 double play to end the ball game. But, Ron, I was going to say that Pete Crow-Armstrong and Nico failed to communicate on a pop fly, but they both felt terrible about it, and it has not happened at all this year when those two guys are converging on a fly ball. So they're working.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And the Cubs defense again today, outstanding. The offense, goes without saying, 15 hits, 13 runs. So, and a big tip of the cap, too, to Cade Horton with his second win of the year, but another big performance. He gave the Cubs five quality innings on one of the toughest days there is to pitch here at Wrigley Field with that wind howling out the center field.
Cubs pitching changes, sponsored by James Hardy Building Products, siding with the Cubs. Our good friend Bruce Levine is down in the Cubs' third base dugout. He is going to get one of the ball players for a quick conversation here momentarily, but a sellout crowd on hand, a day that really reminds you